See. There we go. The desktop going here. All right. Let's see what we got going on. There we go. We're doing all the things. All right. Let's do some research. Actually, let's watch this first. I want to see this.
This is sort of a weird video. I want to see what you make of it. This is from a Vivek Ramaswamy event where a guy claiming to be a former FBI agent. Now, of course, we don't know that to be true. Someone asserts that they're a former FBI agent. He warns Vivek Ramaswamy and tells him to be careful. Now, this could mean a number of different things. Let's take a look at it. Let's listen to it.
Do that Heritage Project 2025 shit. It's crazy. I do need to look that up. I'm supposed to be actually doing research, but I've already got distracted by the first video I saw. So we're gonna see how this goes.
Tell me what you think this is all.
I'm doing a podcast with Katrina Christensen, or else I'm in touch with her campaign manager right now to have her come on the podcast and do my second podcast with her. So I'm going to be looking up some stuff on Katrina Christensen tonight. So if you know anything about Katrina Christensen of North Dakota, or if you wish for me to ask her a question or any of that sort, like, let me know, and I will make it my job to do so, to look at that kind of stuff. Also, I'm trying to make it so chat pops up on the screen here. I think I did it. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Semi-works. There we go. We're going to go like that. And like that. Okay. We're bringing it back down here. Every time I get on stream to like actually do one of these like research streams, I just end up messing with my video instead. I'm like, I'm going to just do this stuff instead. That's why I don't do this. Every time I get on video, I like fuck around instead of doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay. So if you guys know of Katrina Christensen, I'll put that in the poll, actually. Let's put that in the poll. Do you know... Let's see, start a poll. I don't even know if I know how to spell this lady's name right. I'm going to probably mess this up. I think it's like Christian Sin with E's. There we go. All right. That's what we're going with. All right. Let's see. Does my camera keep focusing? Probably, huh? All right. This is the first time I've used this camera too on the live stream. This is the A6400. So if it's like super blurry, let me know. Midas Boston Brian's breakdown of the Singularity and Donny Boy's music. No, I haven't seen that, but I bet it's freaking epic. Have you seen the... About to watch this Tyvek video. Have you seen the videos of Tyvek and him plagiarizing Obama? That's really crazy. Like, he word for word says the E pluribus unum thing that Obama said. Word for word says the skinny guy with the weird last name thing. It's pretty trippy how, like, he's kind of taken Donald Trump's, like, rhetoric, but also, like, Obama's, like, catchphrases. It's really strange. I was surprised to see that. Okay. Here, let's do this. I should probably make myself smaller here. Let's see if I can make myself... Oh, there we go. Now I look a little bit more normal. I mean, can I ever look normal? All right. We're doing research, boys. We're not going to get distracted.
It's all about.
What's your name, sir?
Mike Wyatt.
Mike, good to meet you.
They ruined my bureau. When I went in, it was fidelity, bravery, integrity. They broke my heart. This can't be. This can't go on. And
We will, and I like the way you're pushing, because those are my instincts, right? But I can tell you what we can immediately get done. Well, thank you for your service.
tired, but Jesus, be careful.
I will, we will. I mean, we're guided by our purpose. I know that it can get ugly.
What?
You mean, like,
Yes,
be careful, be
very
careful.
careful.
Yeah. What did you do in the bureau?
So what's this guy talking about? Be careful, be careful.
I worked, I was a SWAT guy, but I worked counterintelligence and counterterrorism, and I was one of those guys that was convinced they would never do it.
you were, how many years were you in the FBI?
22. I was a cop before that.
Okay, and you're worried.
Yes.
This is the most awkward conversation I have ever seen, and I have seen a lot of awkward conversations doing this stream.
Okay.
He's trying to communicate something. You're worried, yes. And they're all kind of talking almost in like a code.
This retired.
What would you do in my shoes?
I get some very, very competent help.
Okay.
And
Is he looking for a job?
Intelligence work for you before you went places.
Okay.
Before you go places, get competent help.
Just walk around, talk to people, maybe get a feeling.
Okay.
Because that's what I do for a living. I got people to tell me what they didn't want to tell me. And the other thing is, I'm now an entrepreneur. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps, but I don't think my worm farm is going to catch up with
Okay.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll take that seriously, man. I'm reading between the lines of what you're saying, and we got you.
What the
We'll take care of ourselves.
is really going on?
He's
here?
reading between the lines. So is this guy suggesting that it is, if he starts doing well in the Republican primary, someone's going to come for him and try to kill Vivek Ramaswamy? I mean, it's like he's not doing well, he's not going to do well, so even the motive for that doesn't
what would
seem
even
viable.
be the motive?
Is he saying if you become president, you represent such a shock to the system that the elites are going to try to take you out?
And what is it? So the reason I wanted to even do this research thing was because, and I think I see it every time I go down there. Yeah, it's right there. Vivek Ramaswamy urinates live during that's funny. They just had this talk on X. I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter because X is stupid. I just realized that he named that platform after his child. I just realized that today. Am I behind on that? Did you guys all know that he had named that shit after his child, and I didn't know that? I guess that's what happened. Anyways, Twitter. On Twitter, they had Alex Jones, Elon Musk, the Tate brothers, Matt Gaetz, Vivek, PBD, Laura Loomer. It was like the most insane conversation of all time. And to be honest with you, Elon tried at the very beginning to be kind of like talk about the elephant in the room because he's bringing Alex Jones back to Twitter, and he's kind of like giving him the like, what he goes, I just wanted to say, like before we get started, what you did with the Sandy Hook thing, that was really not cool. And I was like, that is the understatement of the fucking century, Elon. Really not cool? Like, Alex Jones is a disgusting human being for what he did with the Sandy Hook shit. And then it went on for Alex Jones to kind of talk about how he didn't really actually deny Sandy Hook. He was just reporting on videos he saw, kind of like what I'm doing like right now. Like, dude, no. He straight up denied Sandy Hook. And I actually wanted to get on here and do research on that, but I also need to do research on Katrina Christensen. I have so many things to do. Usually I don't do this and turn on the camera, but I figured since I'm here and I'm doing it, I might as well turn on the camera and talk to you guys, because you guys are awesome. Yeah, his son has a weird name. It's like Zribergada Craziness Insanity name. Like that poor kid's teachers. But anyways, like listening in to these guys talk to each other, Tyvek and Elon and Alex Jones and Andrew Tate, it was like listening to like you have the Justice League with like Superman and Batman and all that, and they have their opposite. I think they're like called the super villains league or something like that. League of Villains. It was like listening to the League of Villains like in real life, like a bunch of dudes getting together and being like, yeah, man, the media is coming after me, and I got done wrong. Like, Andrew Tate's on there as the representation of human trafficking, and Alex Jones is on there as a representation of grifting off of conspiracy theorists, and Elon's on there because now he's liking and commenting on anti-Semitic shit on his platform that he owns. And they're also all talking about how they're being censored, which is fucking hilarious to hear a dude that spent $44 billion on a social media company complaining about being censored. Like, Jesus Christ, what world do we live in? What reality do we live in where you have billionaires? Every one of these people that were on there have multiple millions of dollars. And they're crying about how the world is so unjust to them. Meanwhile, Alex Jones is, saying things that are inciting people to show up at the houses of people's homes, or at people's homes of children that perished in a mass shooting's parents. Their parents. Their kids passed away in a horrific act of violence. And he is inciting these people to show up at their houses, and he's going, poor me. The media really did wrong by me. It was the weirdest thing I have ever seen. Neve does rock. I love Neve. Is Neve around here? I didn't see Neve. Is Neve in here? Am I not playing all of the chat? Anyways, I did tell Neve I would get on stream with her too. I should get on stream with Neve. Me and Neve were going to talk about Santos. I have so many things to do. I can't stream all the time. Yeah, it's just really weird to listen to him like cry and complain about how tough life was for him. And of course, at one point or another, Alex Jones starts talking about how Elon has to be careful because they're like all of these guys believe that someone's going to assassinate him. Like anybody even gives that much of a shit like about Tate or Elon or Alex Jones or even Tyvek. That's why I'm bringing this up. This whole this supposed former FBI agent. Guarantee he wasn't a former FBI agent. I guarantee he was not. No way. Anyways, him still trying to insinuate that somebody wants to take Tyvek out. Like these people live in this I don't know, true crime reality, fantasy reality where everybody's out to get them and wants to take them out, and really it's just that they're their own worst enemy, and they say things that people like Disney and CBS and NBC and all these other places don't want their ads to be next to. It isn't really that hard to figure out. I understand why nobody's over here rocking out, advertising on my channel, and I'm over here cursing and saying stuff. It's just insane. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I don't get it, and I don't he starts telling Elon that he better be careful because they won't shoot Elon, but they'll sneak a radioactive isotope into his food to poison him because they want to take Elon out. I've said it before, half the reason that this channel actually works out is because all of these Trump supporters come on here and leave comments on my shorts just showing the world exactly how crazy they are. It's you don't want to shut up people like Alex Jones and Tyvek and Elon because you can just let them just screw themselves over by talking. Dude, I have a superpower. My superpower is the ability to sit down and listen to 3-hour conversations that other people don't want to hear because they hate the people talking. I'll sit there and listen to the whole goddamn thing. If you want to hear just the utter insanity that these people are imbibing in, and even in some way circle jerking off to with each other, go listen to that conversation. It's on X. It's Elon Musk. It's Andrew Tate. It's Tyvek. It's Laura Loomer. It's Vivek. And they're just circle jerking to how bad they have it as they fucking just wipe their face with their millions of dollars. The media is just doing them so wrong, man. Oh, it's so hard to be a millionaire. It's so hard being canceled. Just absolutely crazy. What's up, DJ? Well, thanks for stopping in, guys. I appreciate you guys. I am going to try and do more random research streams because, like I said, I do the research, but I don't turn on the camera. I see other streamers do this, but then I get distracted like this. I do get distracted and I don't actually do the research. All right. Do any of you guys, any of you guys have any information on okay, so here, we'll just look her up right now. North Dakota. Senate candidate. Katrina. I don't know if I can know how to spell her name right. There I do. Okay. So this is the lady. I'm currently in touch with her, and then we're going to actually get in touch with her campaign manager, and then she supposedly is going to come on to the podcast. We're going to have a podcast. We should play the ad. She has an ad. I wonder if it's on here. Let's just read a little bit about it. Not your typical politician. She is a Democrat. Katrina embodies tenacity, translating convictions into actions. Her mission is unwavering to empower North Dakotans with government resources for their success. Throughout history, North Dakota's legacy has been prioritizing its people. Katrina vows to tirelessly champion their cause, advocating for farmers, ranchers, laborers, teachers, essential workers, and the land. With unyielding determination, she confronts challenges with thoughtful, tailored solutions. Supposedly she came from like a little bit more of a poorer background. It looks like this is her family here. In America, we stand on our values. Katrina will work to guarantee your freedom to privacy and freedom to work, live and retire with dignity. She will fight for the freedoms that empower individuals, families, and communities to thrive and succeed. If you guys have any questions you guys would like me to ask Katrina, feel free. This is the ad. She sent me this ad on Twitter, and I did share it on my Twitter account. If you guys are not following me on Twitter, it is @PSMRF. I don't know if you guys at all want to be on that cesspit of a social media platform, but I am over there. I have about almost 3,500 subscribers now over there, due to a amazing two people, Get Your Foxy Back and Sebastian. They have really rocked it over there. Let's watch this. If you guys want to watch this, I want to share it with you guys anyway. So let's watch this. If you guys have any questions for Katrina, I would love for you guys to put them in the Discord. Here, let's get the Discord up, because I know some of you guys have not joined it. Yeah, DJ, I can understand. Fuck Twitter. I'll be honest with you. It's a cesspit. It has gotten so gross over there. Like, if I didn't have going on 4,000 people following me over there, I probably would not be on it either, to be honest with you. But it is like probably, it's obviously the largest social media I have. I literally hate it. I'm also on Blue Sky. I don't know if any of you guys are ever interested in going on Blue Sky. I do have invite codes. I think I get one every 2 weeks. So if you guys are interested in going on Blue Sky, which is Jack Dorsey's funded alternative to Twitter, it's still in beta. The only way you can get on it is if you have a code. But if you guys are interested, let me know on the Discord. Here's the Discord. Discord, is it glitchy? It shouldn't be, but we need a tech guy. We need Kankomore in here to help us with the tech. If you guys do want to get on Blue Sky is much easier. Blue Sky is where I got a hold of Brianna Wu. I don't know if I told you guys that, but Brianna Wu has actually responded to me on Blue Sky, and I am attempting to get Brianna Wu to either come on the podcast or potentially to let me work with them. I would love to work with Brianna Wu, and we're going to play a video here in a minute of her conversation with Destiny, which I thought was a great conversation where we talked about some things that I don't think that the left talks about nearly enough. So first I want to play this ad. This is Katrina Christensen's ad. Now I'm going to be honest with you. I don't do the like fear thing. I think sometimes we overdo like the heaviness of the fear. And I think that this ad has a little bit of that. It's a little bit dark, but I mean, to be honest with you, I see what she's going for. So you guys let me know what you think about this. And once again, if you guys want me to ask her any questions, drop it in the general chat on Discord.
When I was a little girl, a wolf hunted our family farm. It wasn't content to pick off a chicken or the family dog. It wanted the whole farm. My father found work, but the wolves found him. My parents always thought they'd catch a break, but they never did. The wolves came for mom and pop stores. They came for cheap prescription medicine. They came for affordable homes. They came for college loans. Forget inflation. Wages never kept up with corporate greed.
Right?
So I went to school on scholarship. I became an agricultural engineer, fell in love, found a great job, started a family, had 3 kids, and invented 2 patents for Cargill, and made them a killing. When the wolves came to reorganize the company, they found me too. Their first solution every time, cut jobs. Because to them, we're the problem. It's not their risky behaviors. It's not their bad investments. It's our livelihoods, our healthcare, our mortgages, our working class dreams. I'm Katrina Christensen. I'm running for U.S. Senate because Congress hasn't passed meaningful antitrust, pro-family legislation in almost 100 years. They abandoned family farms. They abandoned American manufacturing. They turned healthcare into a $1 trillion industry. And they let Amazon and Walmart hunt family businesses to extinction. Wolves. And Congress hasn't culled the pack since Teddy Roosevelt was president. I'm an engineer, and I can tell you, problems like we're facing don't fix themselves. We gotta be tougher and smarter and more stubborn than the forces that are bankrupting the American middle class. My kids have no concept of the poverty I grew up with, the insecurity and shame. And as long as they're under my roof, they won't. And our senator should feel that way about us. Should be protective of each of our children, our rights, our health, our land and water, our safety, our national security. Our senators shouldn't be afraid to face the wolves.
I thought that was a pretty good ad. I think that, like I said, I don't think it's like overly dark with the idea. I just, you know, sometimes with the dark music, I think it's just the music really that gets to me. From an editing point of view, like the darker music kind of, I'm not big on it, but I like the message, and this is something that I think that people don't think about with specifically the left and liberals. Is obviously this woman is, you know, from a more a poorer background. She's more blue collar. Obviously, she became an engineer, which is, you know, a little less blue collar. But, you know, hey, education for all. I'm happy with that. But she seems like she wants to like support the middle class, which I think is like incredibly important and constantly being overlooked. All politicians talk about supporting the middle class. I hope that she actually means that she wants to support the middle class and that she actually like proposes legislation to really help out with the middle class, because I think that everybody like runs on that, but no one actually takes care of the middle class. They end up, you know, there's tons of tax cuts for the rich, very small tax cuts for the middle class, or at least tax cuts that look large but end up percentage-wise being really small. And then, you know, obviously we have, you know, a lot of social safety nets, at least here in California, for the poor. So I think oftentimes like the middle class gets like overlooked. So I think that hopefully, and I'll get to maybe ask her some of these questions, that she really is, you know, looking to look out for the mom and pop businesses. I work for a small store. It's a middle-sized store, but it is owned by a mom and pop, and has been mom and pop owned for 40 years. I really enjoy small business. I know when we had a Target that came into town. There's a huge worry. You know, I did my best. I pushed really hard to really, you know, keep the reputation of my store, that you can shop there, you can still get things at a discount price, still get quality products, and really set ourselves apart from that Target. But I do know what it feels like to have a big box store come in and, you know, really, you know, put the pressure on smaller stores. So I like her message. I think that her message is really good. I like the imagery of it. I just maybe like the little bit of the dark music isn't my style, but I like that she really has like a hopeful feel to the ad as well. And I like her background and the idea that, you know, she's going to work for the everyday American person. So I think that's I think it was a pretty good ad. Nathan, the Vivek FBI dude interaction was very strange, like they were trying to communicate telepathically or totally staged. You know, we live in such a strange time now where it's like you almost can't believe anything. Like, I don't really think about that until you say that, and then you say that, and like almost immediately I'm like, yep, that's a possibility that was all staged. That's so weird, but it is. It's like, that's like the fucking day and age that we live in. I want to watch so many videos. Like, I could be here all night, and I'm only supposed to be on here for like an hour or two. There was a really good video by Lex Friedman where he talks about the George Orwell book, 1984, and like kind of goes into some of the passages and stuff from the George Orwell book. And I really like Lex Friedman, even if he does talk to some people I don't really like. He's a very intelligent person, and his breakdown of 1984 is actually really good, including some of the misuses that the right uses, being that George Orwell was a democratic socialist. So I thought that was really good. Maybe we'll watch that too. Let's see. You guys are talking tech. Good job. Yeah, it's hard to be polite when calling out the track record of the fascist party. Fuck them. They don't care about our feelings. Why should we care about theirs? Fetty, I'm like, this is something I'm struggling with right now because, like, I want so badly to represent the left and progressives in a way that's, like, professional and, you know, at the same time, keep that balance of like really making people understand that I'm not somebody you push around. I'm not somebody that's going to just accept, you know, being insulted. I'm not going to allow people to insult the people I love, the people that I support, without like going over the top. Right. And so like, I've been saying this, and that's kind of funny because in that Lex Friedman, he talks about it, and he talks about 1984, how I think it's, what's the guy's name? Winston is the main character. How Winston, you know, at times talks about what he's willing to do to overthrow Big Brother, and how he's willing to commit crimes against children, against women, whatever it takes to like overthrow the fascist regime. And Friedman kind of talks about like how, you know, you have to be careful with what you're willing to do. And I actually agree with that a lot, because I think that you lose your own sense of humanity. I think that in overthrowing or fighting against people like on the Trump side, the supporters of Trump, like that, you got to be very careful about not losing what makes you different than those people, what sets you apart from them. And I think that the one thing that truly sets independents and left-leaning independents and progressives apart from the right, specifically really far from the Trump supporting right, is that like they care, that they want people to have equal rights, that they want everybody to be paid the same, that they want like everybody to have equity, not just, you know, equality. Yes, they want equity, you know, like I think that that's something that's really hard to balance right now, because I'm just like anybody else. I get on Twitter and somebody says something about me or insults somebody I like, and I almost immediately want to get on there and just like go at them. And like, especially where I come from, I'm not somebody that backs down from these types of things. It's really hard to find that balance, but we are trying to find that balance, and I think that hopefully we can do that. So let's read a little bit more about Katrina here. Let's see. Katrina is proud to call North Dakota home. North Dakota is where she loves to raise her beautiful family and works to build a better future for them. That's good to hear, considering how many of these Republican candidates or Republican senators you find out don't even live in the state that they represent. That's insane. That shouldn't be. I don't think it is legal. It shouldn't be legal. Katrina has rural roots. She graduated high school as a valedictorian in Pender, a town of 1,200 people in northeast Nebraska. Katrina attended the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, graduating with a degree in biological systems engineering. Katrina is passionate about agriculture and energy, North Dakota's largest economic sectors. Katrina completed a master's degree in 2006 that focused on value-added processing for a sorghum. Oh, that's crazy. The fact that she's so interested in agriculture and energy is really good, obviously. Like, this is one of the things that, once again, I keep saying it, people really, they want posture. They don't want, they want symbolism, not substance. It seems like everybody nowadays wants symbolism. They want people to look like they're the person they want. They want them to act like the person they want, but they don't want like the actual substance of the person like doing the things, because that's like boring. So it looks like she has substance. Substance is very important to me. And, you know, obviously as a person that hires people, incredibly important to getting the job done. Katrina is disciplined and tenacious. She completed a PhD program in agricultural engineering in 2011 that studied the costs and benefits of different biofuel production methods at Iowa State University. Katrina has real-world experience as a real-world problem solver. Katrina worked as a plant engineer at an ethanol plant for 2 years. Katrina has worked for a large agricultural processor as a researcher and innovator where she earned 2 patents. And that's what she's talking about. I think she said Cargill, right? Method for increasing yield in the malting process. Processes for making sprouted whole grain and products. My eyes are so bad. Comparing sprouted whole grains. Granular material processor. So she's done some stuff. She's actually like not just one of these people that's just like grifting off of like her parents or her family ties, relations. Katrina is an innovative thinker. She has experience with startups. She worked for a Fargo startup focused on developing innovative equipment for craft maltsters with a 3rd patented technology. Yeah, see, I really like all of this. This like really speaks well to who she is as a person. So I like that. Maybe we'll talk to her a little bit about that. Yeah, I would love to hear from you guys and what you guys think. I saw that Fatty said that he thinks that she's a badass. I really like that. Yo, what's up, Sharon? Here's my boy. Yeah, I would love to. Sharon, you can pop in here and talk about American politics too, my friend. If you want me to ask any questions of Katrina when she comes on the podcast, I'll ask her. You want to know whether or not Katrina supports Poland? I got your back, Sharon. So yeah, if you guys got any questions for Katrina Christensen, who is running for U.S. Senate in North Dakota, let's see, who is she running against? Who is running? I believe the incumbent is a Republican. Kevin Kramer is who she's running against. Wikipedia still can't be sold. Calm down, Wikipedia. Always asking me for money. I'm asking other people for money, and then Wikipedia asks me for money. It's just like a really vicious cycle, to be honest with you. The 2024 United States Senate election in North Dakota will be held on November 5th, 2024. And just so you know, Christensen has actually already lost once. She lost, I think, last term. So she's going to be doing this too. She looks cool, right? Exactly, Sharon. So, like, I don't know. If, like I said, you want to know what her foreign policy is, you let me know. I'll ask her whatever question you guys want me to ask her. I'm here for the people, okay? This is the People's Podcast. To represent the state of North Dakota, incumbent Republican Senator Kevin Kramer was first elected in 2018 and is seeking a second term. So she lost to him the first time. I think she only got, like, I want to say 26% of the vote. Let's look at who Kevin Kramer is. Okay, Kevin Kramer. He looks like a younger Mitch McConnell. I'll be fucking honest with you. He looks like a younger Turtle Man. He might be related to Turtle Man. Before Mr. Kramer here, it was Heidi Heitkamp. I don't know about that last name, Heitkamp. She was a Democratic, a member of the North Dakota Democratic Nonpartisan League Party. So that means that they do vote for Democrats. They have voted for Democrats before. That looks good for Katrina there. Kevin Kramer here. Let's see. Kramer chaired the North Dakota Republican Party from 91 to 93. He was a tourism director. That's big. Born in North Dakota. He's got that on her. She was born in, what'd they say, Iowa or Nebraska? She was born in Nebraska. First of 5 children. God, he was the first of 5 children. You know his ass had to take care of all the other people, all the other kids, dude. That's always, the older kid always just gets screwed over, man. Earned a master's degree in management from the University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota. That's good. That's good. All right, he's got a master's. Let's see. Campaign for Mark Andrews. Okay. Serves as chairman of the North Dakota Republican Party from 91 to 93. At age 30, he was the youngest person to be named state party chairman. What's his policy look like, though? Oh, no. Dick Armey. Dick Armey of Texas persuaded Kramer to challenge Democratic U.S. Congressman Earl Pomeroy. That's just an unfortunate name. Dick Armey. I'm turning into a 12-year-old. Sorry, guys. And Theo Vaughn still isn't a candidate, Casper. Very well educated in civil works, things that are good for all humanity. Yeah, give me up and give me some research material up in the Discord, fatty. Sharon, the man who created our Discord, watching tonight. He's a celebrity out here. Okay. Sharon, I hope the girl's doing okay. I hope the pregnancy's going well, my friend. Ran for re-election, unopposed in the Republican primary. Has he done anything though? Kramer opposes abortion. He is a critic of Planned Parenthood and has called for cutting off public funding of the group. 2013 condemned the Supreme Court decision of Roe v. Wade and tied an uptick in mass shootings to the legalize of what? Oh, because he's saying single. This is a trope on the right that single motherhood brings more criminals into the world, because statistically speaking it does, but that's such a like convoluted and complicated topic to talk about, because there's so many confounding factors when it comes to being a child in a single parent home, that just blaming it on the fact that the legalized, well actually that doesn't even make sense. Wait that's not the argument. He's blaming legalized abortion for uptick in mass shootings. Wait, what? How does, I need to see that. I need to know what his argument is on this, because I thought usually they're blaming the single mother for this stuff and the uptick in crime with single mother families, which, like I said, is actually kind of a misnomer, because there's so many confounding factors that come with being a child in a single parent home, that just blaming it on just being a single mother is just absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention, we should be having support programs for those single mothers, and possibly these children that are growing up in these homes wouldn't have such bad lives. I grew up in a single mother home, just so you guys know. I didn't even know my dad until I was almost 13 years old. What argument could he possibly have that legalized abortion leads to more mass shootings? I'm going to guess it has something to do with something biblical. That the further you stray from God, the more mass shootings you are. Because forget about the fucking Inquisition. Forget about the Crusades. Forget about the fact that Charlemagne stood up in front of an entire army of people and was like, go out, grape, pillage, murder children, do whatever you want. It's fine. It's fine. Just come back and repent. That's what Charlemagne did. He literally did that. Girls telling you to bring you shit, bring you this, bring you that. Welcome to the pregnant wife life, Sharon. It don't stop there, my friend. It don't stop there. All right, DJ. Hope to see you back in a little bit. Dude is a clone of MAGA Mike Tiny Johnson. Oh, Tiny Johnson. Let's see. Okay. I was asked recently by a reporter if I'm afraid that some people would attack me if I speak like this, and I said, no, I am not afraid. They will. I am quite certain they will. Oh, they're all going to attack me. No one attacks you. This is like the dumbest fear. Like, we were just talking about this. It's the Elon Musk, the Alex Jones, the Tyveks. Oh, like they're coming for me. They're trying to take me out. No one's trying to take you out, bro. If they did, they would. You're telling me that all of these people are super like conspiracy theory minded about how many people Hillary Clinton supposedly took out, but Elon and all these other people can say all this crazy shit about them and they don't do anything about them. Like, that's crazy talk. If they wanted them dead, you would think that shit would happen. Like, this guy, I'm not afraid that they will attack me. They will? Like, dude, first of all, this guy don't look like he can fight. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. He doesn't look like he can throw hands. All right? I don't know. Maybe he's got like some jiu-jitsu background that I'm not thinking about. But I'm guessing if he does actually get attacked, he's going down in the first shot. But regardless, no one's attacking this person. The people that attack people are the people that attack abortion clinics. Those are the type of people that attack people. Mostly on the left, it's like blue-haired people like yelling stuff at you. It's generally like somebody with a bullhorn. It's rarely somebody actually attacking you. Oh, Kramer has been closely allied with Donald Trump. Of course he has been. Oh, Jesus. Kramer supported Trump's 2017 executive order banning entry to the U.S. citizens of 7 Muslim-majority countries. Yeah, I don't know that I supported that. I don't think you can support a ban on Muslim countries. That's insane to me. I think that when we take these, like, insane leaps of, like, we're going to ban an entire religion or country from entering because some people from that country are not good people, well, then they could literally ban America from every other country. I think they did during those Muslim bans. Didn't they ban us from a couple different places? Like, we're the most violent country. Like, we have more gun violence than any other country in the entire world. Probably multiple countries combined. Imagine if people took the attitude we did with Muslim countries when Trump was president and we were banning them from being allowed to come into our country. Imagine if people treated Americans the way that we treat others. Like, we wouldn't be allowed to go anywhere. Anywhere. Like, people would be like, nah, you guys shoot each other all the goddamn time. You guys are not allowed in our country. That's so insane that we take this, like, attitude. Yeah, we do buy Glocks while we're grocery shopping, bro. My stepbrother works for Walmart. You can, like, I can walk in there. I'm in California, which people think is like the most strict gun laws in all of the United States of America. You know how easy it is for me to get a gun in the United States, in California? Like, it is not hard. Like, I can go to Walmart and buy a shotgun today and, like, just walk out with a shotgun, okay? If I want a handgun, all I have to do is take a handgun safety course. That's it. That's the bar that these guys are talking about. When they talk about how California, they're so liberal and there's no guns. Like, dude, there are guns all over California. There is, how many people in California right now? What is the population of California? Is it 72 million? It's probably more than that. Population of California, 39 million. Okay, sorry. 39 million people in California. Still a ton of people. How many? And this is just the registered guns. Okay? Because y'all know about MS-13. 20 million firearms. We're below the national average because I think the national average is 1.2 guns per United States citizen. But in California, there's still 20 million firearms, and only 9 million of them are handguns. Okay, that's 11 million guns in California. That oh shit! Oh, out of the 34 million people, only 4 million people own guns, and they own 20 million of them. That's 5 guns per person in California. I love that people believe that there are no guns in California. And that's, like I said, that's the registered guns. All the illegal guns that have the fucking serial numbers filed off, all the, like, guns from gangs. Like, we have the gnarliest gangs in the United States of America in California. Like, there are guns everywhere in California. Like, imagine if we got treated that way. Imagine if other countries were like, no, dude, you guys are fucking, like, crazy gun nuts. And you guys also elected a reality TV show person for a president. So, how many guns per person? Let's see if I'm wrong about this. In the United States, there are 120 firearms and 120 million in civilian possession. Oh, no. That's right. I'm fucking spot on. 1.2. I am so good. 1.2 guns, so it's 120 firearms for every 100 residents. So that's 1.2. I am so good. So good. Dude, yeah, for every 100 residents, there's 120 guns. And look, you know, I know where we're at. I'm for common sense gun laws. I'm just saying the Muslim ban, like saying like people from Muslim countries aren't allowed to come here because, you know, of what was it in 2017? What was he even banning people for in 2017? What the fuck was he even doing? Protecting the nation from foreign terrorists. It was titled Protecting the Nation from Foreign Terrorist Entry into the United States. So he literally just like banned Muslims because he's like, dude, they're terrorists. Like, that's racist, bro. I guess that's not racist. That's religiousist, right? Because Muslim isn't a race. It also, isn't there like 15 billion. Isn't there 1.5 billion Muslims in the world? Where just like 1.5 billion people aren't allowed to come here. That's just like insanity. Like I said, imagine if the Muslim countries treated us like that. Like, we kill more people per capita probably than any other country in the world. I should Google that before I go saying things like that, but I bet that's true. The United States is out of fucking control, dude. Kramer rejects the scientific insistence on climate change. So he's just a run-of-the-mill Republican, what you call that nowadays, like a hardcore conservative. He said that he would support a small carbon tax. That's pretty liberal for a Republican, to be honest with you. He's an ardent drilling advocate. Supports an increase in oil and gas drilling on public lands. Let's see, what else does he do? Trump asked Kramer to draft his campaign's energy policy. This is how smart Kramer is. Kramer supports cuts in supplemental nutrition in the SNAP program. Awesome. We were just talking about single mothers, and he's talking about gun violence and abortion. And here he is. He's like, let's cut food stamps, because that's what Jesus would do, right? Jesus would cut the food stamp program. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the Bible. Jesus was like, screw single mothers, take away food stamps, right? Like, isn't that what Jesus wanted? Oh, they're trying to give you guys an ad. Hold on. Boom. No ads. There's 2.5 guns for every 100 residents. You don't need 5 guns to live. Exactly, Sharon. It's insanity. And the worst part about all this is I can't remember what the statistics on gun violence it is. I think like 70 kids per year kill each other. How many kids accidentally kill each other? That's what it was. I should stop saying all these words on YouTube. YouTube is about to ban me. How many accidental... This is an insane statistic. Most accidental shooting deaths among children involve other children. Guns left loaded and locked. Most children in the U.S. who die from an accidental shooting are playing around with guns at home or mistaking them for toys, according to a new study. And the research suggests that over 90% of guns used in such shooting deaths were left unlocked and loaded. Yeah, when you have 5 guns, it's hard to keep up, you know? You got 5 guns, you're like, I got 3 of them, I can't remember where I put the other 2. You know, no big deal. No big deal. Jesus Christ. The study published Monday in the Scientific Journal Injury Epidemiology looked at cases over nearly a decade in which children under 15 accidentally killed themselves or another child with a gun. Most of the shootings happened at the victim's home, where in 8 out of 10 cases the gun belonged to an older relative. Look at this. This is the sad one right here. Over 40% of the time, these unintentional deaths happened among kids ages 2 to 4. 2 to 4. Insanity. Absolute insanity. You saw at least a dozen guys walking around today with a pistol on their hip. Oh my God. Yeah, dude. You better you strap him up with a vest. You send him in any American school. It's insane. It's insane. We just had a mass shooting just like, 3 days ago? Like, and that was adults at a college. Like, look, at this point, I understand there is no way that we're getting all these guns back under control. So the only thing that you can do now is put a bar, a restriction on who can own these guns. Common sense gun laws are common sense. Everybody should be for this. You should have to, if you own a gun, you should have to be able to show that you know how to store it, and you should have to have the ability to do so. You should have to pass mental health tests. You can't, like, I've said it before. I just said it the other night. If I own a weapon and I'm losing my mind, if I start to have dementia, Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, bipolar, anything that could lead to another person being harmed by me with a gun, take that shit away. Like, you can't just let people, just anybody, a person that, domestic violence, what are the statistics on domestic violence and gun deaths? That's like an insane one. It's like 80 or 90% of all women killed in domestic violence are shot. violence. Domestic violence. Let's see. Guns and violence against women. This is a terrible website. The statistics on the prevalence of intimate partner violence with a gun in the United States are staggering. Every month, an average of 70 women are shot and killed by an intimate partner. Every month. That's over 2 women a day. Over 2 women a day are shot and killed by an intimate partner in the United States of America. What is wrong with people? Nearly 1 million women alive today have reported being shot or shot at. Those are the ones that survived. Those are the women that are still living. Good Lord, that's what happens when you have 5 guns. Over 4.5 million women have reported being threatened. So out of the 1 million that got shot at, 3.5 million luckily only got threatened. Only got threatened by an intimate partner. And beyond the daily toll of this problem, in more than half of mass shootings over the past decade, the perpetrator shot a current or former intimate partner. Over half of the mass shootings involved a perpetrator going to wherever they're going to shoot their partner. Wow. Like, just think about that. How many, they're all innocent victims, but how many people not even involved in this relationship have died because some dude is like incapable of keeping his shit together mentally and goes to their workplace, to their school, to a family gathering and shot not just that person, but multiple people. We have a problem. I don't understand. Thoughts and prayers aren't going to fix this, man. You're not going to fix 1 million women being shot at per year, 2 women per day being killed. Like, you're not going to fix that with thoughts and prayers. The Bible doesn't have anything in it that tells you how to fix that. You can't fix this with something that literally is based in misogyny. And that's what religion is. Religion is based in the patriarchy. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Like, you can't fix domestic violence against women with misogyny. This boggles my mind. I know most of these stats, and it still boggles my mind when I read it. Let's see. The ripple effects of firearms in the hands of an abuser extend far beyond the intimate relationship, affecting children who witness or live with it, and let's not forget about the people traumatized by these things. And just so you guys know, I have personal experience with this. The store that I work for, the sister store, a man that had been dating one of the employees at the store came to the store to kidnap the former girlfriend with a semi-automatic weapon, shot out the front windows to the store while there's customers inside the store, okay? There's all these customers inside the store. Ooh, the video is kind of crazy. These 2 customers just walking past, this dude whips out a gun. They're just like, doop, 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 doop. It is insanity. But this guy kidnapped one of the employees from our other store, our sister store. Luckily, she jumped out of a moving vehicle, okay, to get away from him, and got away from him. But he came in with a semi-automatic weapon, shot out the front windows as one of the employees runs out the door to hide in a ditch. It's out of control, guys. Like, this shit is out of control. While the deadly intersection of guns and intimate partner violence affects all women, it has a disproportionate impact on American Indian, Alaska Native, Black, and Latino women, as well as pregnant and postpartum women. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to get into why that's a thing, because that's a whole nother question. In addition, segments of the LGBTQ plus community and people with disabilities are highly vulnerable to severe forms of relationship abuse. That fucking guy that we did that podcast with Gray Pill on, I'm looking at that guy. But there is alarmingly little data on the intersection of firearms and intimate partner violence among these populations because of underreporting of these incidents to authorities and failure to invest in research that disaggregates. I've never seen that word before. Disaggregates data to fully capture the extent of the problem. Yeah, I got off track. Who's the Republican that just hit the news for pistol whipping his wife? Are you kidding me, fatty? Is there a Republican that pistol whipped? No way. Okay, we're looking at guys. This is why I can't do research on the stream, because I go off the rails. And next thing I know, I'm doing this stuff. I like that statistics pops up. Oh yeah, the student for Trump founder. Yeah, this guy. Oh, we gotta go to X for this? This is scary. Oh, look at that. That's a winner. Look at that winner, guys. Oh, man. Oh, ladies. Ladies, keep your pants on. Holy shit, that guy. Boy, that guy right there. Woo! I don't know, man. That's a tough one to pass up. Good Lord, sir. Students. This is Students for Trump founder and certified piece of shit Ryan Fournier, who just got arrested for pistol whipping his girlfriend. What is wrong with people? It looks like she whooped his ass though, doesn't it? It looks like he got the bad. Like it looks like she took the pistol away from him and then just whipped him right back with that. Like it looks like he actually got his ass handed to him. Ryan Fournier probably can't fight either. None of these dudes can fight. Okay. Oh, look at this one. This one's from October 23rd. How about this one? Republican lawmaker accidentally shot his wife while taking Christmas pic with AR-15. Holy shot. Oh, okay. It's satire. Okay. All right. Thank God it's satire. I was going to say, oh, shit. It's hard to know nowadays. It's hard to know. Okay. It was at least that. Okay. Is this one satire? Man in custody of Republican pistol whipping woman. Oh, you remember these two? You guys remember those two? Who holds a gun like that? Who holds a gun like that? What is that shit? No one holds a gun like that. You have to right in the eyeball. She gonna pistol whip herself. She pulls that trigger, dude. Who holds a gun like that? Look at that shit. I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying. Maybe these research things are good. I'm just never actually going to get any actual research done on these streams. What do you call a voluntarily incel? That guy. So anyways, I just started blasting. Whose grandparents are this? Somebody come get their grandparents, dude. Okay. All right. Being serious now, because I want to see who this douchebag is. How much you want to make a bet this guy comes out of the closet soon? I got money on that. Ryan Fournier is a professional MAGA troll. Is that a option now? Can you professionally be a MAGA troll now? Is that an option? I didn't know that was an option. Screw trade schools. Fuck a trade school. Fuck a master's degree in engineering. What do you want to be when you grow up, Ryan? I want to be a professional MAGA troll. This is how we're making America great again. This is how we're going to make America great again? Jesus Christ. Though not an especially talented one, the founder of Students for Trump has a Twitter feed that is a cookie-cutter replica of every tired right-wing joke and attempted gotcha we've all heard a million times. It's a testament to the mediocrity of Donald Trump fandom that white guys can make a full-time living making the same hackneyed remarks, calling trans women biological males, and unconvincing fantasies about how to frighten liberals. And like every cut-rate right-winger online that could easily be replaced with a chatbot, Fournier is fond of claiming that conservatives, not feminists, are the real champions of women. Feminism is more so about hating men than it is about empowering women, he wrote in a typically tedious tweet. Unsurprisingly, this 27-year-old youth leader of Trumpism trotted out the same boring line about how guns do more for women than feminism, claiming that the Second Amendment did more to make women equal than feminism ever did. Let's see. Fournier was arrested last week in North Carolina on allegations that he beat his girlfriend with the very weapon he championed as the great gender equalizer. According to the police record, the defendant unlawfully and willfully did assault and strike a woman by grabbing her right arm and striking her in the forehead with a firearm. The arrest record goes on to describe the weapon as a 9mm SIG. Of course it's a SIG. Oh my God, a P229. Oh, of course. Not to get too dark here, but I wonder if the editorial board at the Washington Post is ready for another op-ed pressuring women to marry Trump voters. No way. Do not pressure women to vote. No. Students for Trump is it groups and colleges nationwide. No way. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Fatty. It's just a 2.5. It's just a little guy. It's a 2.29, bro. It's a 2.29. It's nothing. That thing, if you're more than 30 feet away from that guy, it actually won't even injure you. In fact, actually, he probably did more damage by hitting her with a gun than if he would have shot her. Not Tom saying that should have happened, okay? Don't fucking cancel me, all right? I'm standing the woman, okay? I will put it out there. If Ryan Fournier's wife would like to donate to my cause, I will fly to where Ryan Fournier lives, and I will pistol whip Ryan Fournier. For the low price of like $3.99, I'll do that shit. Like, come on, man. That's a joke, YouTube. Do not ban me. It's just a joke. God damn it. Guns empower women is one of the many thought-terminating cliches that proliferate on the right. These cliches aren't meant to be persuasive so much as to fill the air with a logical noise to shut down anything resembling critical inquiry of indefensible positions. That's just like everything they do. Holy shit, how did we even get here? The reason these facts don't penetrate the MAGA bubble of delusion is simple. They never actually cared about women's safety. On the contrary, all the right-wing talk about protecting women is a fig leaf over the right-wing reality of toxic masculinity and a compulsive desire to dominate women. Once again, we're just going to go back to the Bible and how none of these people actually represent Jesus in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm not biblical. I'm not religious. But I am 100% sure Jesus would not be okay with you pistol whipping your wife. I don't think when people wore those bracelets that said WWJD that the answer was pistol whip your wife. Okay? What the hell are we doing? What is wrong with people? I can't even. Philadelphia Moms for Liberty organizer is a registered sex offender. That's old. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we've determined. Okay. Trad me, bro. Trad me, bro. Okay. We have done some research here. So I need to write some of this stuff down. Okay. So our good friend Kenneth Kramer, who Katrina is running against. Ken Kramer. I mean, I could be using my computer for this, but I'm an old man and I write things on a legal pad. King Kramer is a MAGA tard. Got it. Okay. Supports people that pistol whip their wives. Okay. What else have we learned today, Fatty? You got to help me out here. Okay. He's anti-abortion. Okay, pro-Muslim ban. What else was he? Pro-Muslim ban. Anti-climate. Am I missing anything? He was what's his gun policy? Would not have prevented the Orlando nightclub shooting until he criticized proposed gun control legislation, saying the problem isn't the U.S. Constitution. The problem is Islamic terrorism. All right. Blames Islamic terrorism. Is this guy an Islamophobe? Probably. Look, and just so you guys know, I hate religion. I hate all religions equally. Dennis Miller, who went off the deep end, once said, why would I ever be racist when there's so many other reasons to hate people? I do that with religion, okay? Like I love people that are spiritual. I love people that have beliefs in creators. I love people that genuinely follow their faith. That's all great, as long as it's like good. As long as you're recognizing that the book that you read was created 5,000 years ago and potentially does not apply to today's situations. And, you know, I'm sure it has a couple good morals and you should still apply this to your day-to-day life. But for the most part, it's a bunch of useless dribble. Like, I dislike a religion, institutionalized religion as a whole. But you can't just ban an entire religion from entering the country. You can't just blame an entire religion for every bad thing that happens. I wish I could, because I would if I could, but I can't. You can't do that. It's insanity to do that kind of shit. Blames Islamic terrorism for gun control problems. I wish it was that easy. I really do. I wish... And I get it. These are simple people. These are simple people that have simple solutions to complicated problems. If it was that easy, if you could just ban all Muslims from coming to the country and there would be no more mass shootings, well, that's not going to happen because you can't do that. Literally can't do... First, it's not Muslims killing people in mass shootings in America. It's Americans shooting Americans... in mass shootings in America. They're not terrorists. They're domestic terrorists. They're apparently people's fucking angry boyfriends for the most part. And small children accidentally shooting each other because people can't keep up with where they put their 5 guns. I just can't remember where I left that shotgun. It's so insane. I'm sorry. I'm losing my shit right now. Like I said, I know all this stuff, and then I reread all this stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm losing it again. Voted to repeal the Affordable Care Act. I hate that they call it Obamacare, but I know he likes that, so whatever. Voted to repeal Obamacare 5 times without a replacement. Awesome. You're a good person. This guy is really Christian. Super Christian. Let's take healthcare away from everybody and then not have anything to replace it with. That's awesome. That's really Christian of you. Kramer opposes same-sex marriage. This guy is ultra mega. Fetty, you are correct. Holy shot. This guy is ultra mega as ultra mega gets. Okay, opposes same-sex marriage. Oh, man. Oh, Katrina, we have so much to talk about, Katrina. We are going to talk mad shit. I am getting excited for this one. Okay, nomination of Brett Kavanaugh called both Anita Hill's sexual harassment allegation against Clarence Thomas and Christine Blasey Ford sexual assault allegation against Brett Kavanaugh. Sorry, you know the worst thing about the Ford thing? Is Kavanaugh didn't really like deny anything. He denied it in a way, but he kind of just like was like, things happened. It was college. I don't know. Maybe I blacked out a lot. I did. Like that was like the worst part about that is that he didn't even stand up there and like unequivocally deny that he did it. He just was like, I don't know. I drank a lot of beer back in the day. A lot of bad shit happened. And people were like, yeah, it's fine. I'm cool with him. Let's see. Voted to repeal the estate tax. I mean, I kind of like that. But, oh, no. Never mind. Imposes a tax at the first several $1 million on a dead person's estate. He does, of course. He only supports repealing taxes against rich people. Of course. Let's look that up. Kramer testy exchange with Native American. We'll look that up. I bet that's on camera. Look at this. We're getting research done, guys. We're doing this. We're not going down the rabbit hole and just watching videos. We're actually getting some stuff done here. Okay. This guy, he looks kind of like, what's his name? Dr. Drew, too. It's like if Dr. Drew and Mitch McConnell had a baby. Okay, there's a lot to go off of here. We can look at Kramer and his wife Chris have 5 children and 5 grandchildren. Their son Isaac died 2018 due to complications of alcoholism. I gotta hold it back. I'm gonna be really nice. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about that. They had earlier adopted. Wait. Hold on. I got this just for this. I made this just for these types of situations. Now I have to find it. Where'd I? God, now I don't know where I put it. Oh, here we go.
What? How? Why? I have so many questions!
Yeah, that's what I got to say about the kids with alcoholism thing. Kid dying from alcoholism. Oh, Jesus. Oh, sorry, Gonzi. I am not paying attention to chat right now because I'm supposed to be researching. I'm doing good. How are you doing, Gonzi? We are currently researching Katrina Christensen, who is a Democrat running for Senate in North Dakota, who is going to come on the podcast. And we are looking at her potential opponent, Kevin Kramer, who apparently is kind of a psycho. Anyways, here we go. Kramer sought and received the support of the Public Advocate of the United States, an anti-LGBT group that advocates for conversion therapy and ties to homosexuality and pedophilia. What? What? Oh, ties homosexuality to pedophilia. I was like, what? That's strange. Okay. Received money, of course, from the Koch brothers. I mean, why wouldn't he? Let's see. Okay. Anyways. Okay, so this is who she's running against. So, did you put anything in the Discord already, Fatty? Anything that I can look at on Katrina? Where is... Did you put it in general? No, I'm not watching fucking the Alex Jones video, Redonk. I am going to ban Redonk from my fucking Discord. Okay, you haven't put anything in here. We'll have to go find something. All right. Let's see if we can find anything on YouTube on our friend Katrina Christensen.
After launching her new campaign for a seat in the Senate, KX News' Adrian Oglesby sat down with incoming challenger Katrina Christensen to talk about her platform and her hopes for North Dakota as we lead local.
Running on an economic platform this time around,
Gonzi, you don't need to know anything about American politics. We've got Sharon in here from Poland. It's fine. It's fine. We're just all in this together. I to be honest with you, I don't know too much about Katrina as well, or else we wouldn't be doing this research.
Dakota's Katrina Christensen says she's ready for the U.S. Senate.
Argentina.
I'm very excited to
Very nice, Gonzi.
talk to North Dakotans
I love
about
seeing
the
all you
issues
guys
that
from
matter
around the
most
world
to
here.
them, that affect their pocketbook, the cost of healthcare, the access to healthcare, mental health resources, teacher shortages. All of these things affect our economy. We don't have teachers.
Oh, is that one dude? What's his name, Gonzi? What's his name? Is it Mealy or something like that? What do you think about that guy? I don't know anything about it. Yeah. Yeah, oh no, we know him over here. He's not, I would say in American media, at least on the left, he's not very well received. A lot of people seem to not be a fan of him on the left. I know that he's a climate denier. He's libertarian. Okay. What do you think about him, Gonzi? Because you know what? I am a progressive. I have very progressive values. but I tend to allow myself the grace to not hate on somebody until I do the research myself. Fatty says he's a fascist.
We won't have people who will be able to fill jobs in the future. So it's really important that we address those sorts of issues.
How does this platform differ from the last time you ran?
Well, I think last time that I ran, the candidates, the opponents are quite different, both ineffective. One was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and the other was just really fortunate enough to have name recognition to just get elected.
In a state like North Dakota, where we see the Republican Party as a majority, how do you plan to put your foot out there and get those votes for the people that, you know, kind of already have their mind made up with who they align with?
So I think one of the things that our former Democratic representatives had was a relationship with voters. Everybody knew Kent and Byron and Earl and Heidi by their first name. And I think that what we need to do is reach out to those voters directly. We're going to spend lots of time going around the state and interacting.
So I really like that, because that's what Obama was talking about. Obama was talking about the fact that people have gotten away from going out and shaking hands and talking to people and seeing people on the ground and like actually like being a person, not just like an online persona. So I like that she's talking about that. I like that she's actually like talking about engaging with people. That's pretty interesting. Let's see. It's pretty tough there in Argentina. Inflation is about 8% monthly. Yeah, that's not great. I heard something about them wanting to pin Argentina's money to the US dollar, which I don't completely understand, and I don't know how that would affect the Argentinian economy, but it sounds like they think that that's supposed to do like good things for the economy. I'm not sure about that. I don't know enough about that, but you know, I think that one of the things that really like puts people in these places where you feel like you need to have the Donald Trumps of the world. I'm not going to speak on this guy because I don't know enough about him, but here in America, the Donald Trumps of the world are really where the disenfranchised and the despairing tend to go. And the idea around having Donald Trump was that he was going to shake things up and he was going to change things. Now, the one thing about that that's really bad here in America is that we're a bunch of spoiled-ass children here in America, and we've had things good for so long that when we don't get everything our way, we think things are bad. But that's really not the truth. The truth of the situation is people talk about how bad our economy is, all while, you know, watching YouTube on a $1,000 computer and, you know, texting their friends on an $800 phone and, you know, living in a house that's, you know, $1,500, $2,000 rent. It's like, all these things cost so much money. And it's like, well, you don't need to have like half this shit, you know? Like a lot of it is just that we're all so used to having money and spending it. I mean, I grew up incredibly poor, extremely poor. You know, I'm talking eat out trash cans and shit in buckets, you know, kind of poor. And I have a real great respect for the things that I have, and that's why I can look at the economy that we're in right now and say, actually, our economy is doing really well due to things like the Infrastructure Act, also known as the Inflation Reduction Act, due to things like the CHIPS Act and the American Family Act. Things like that have really helped the economy since COVID. But a lot of the people here in America are actually so damn spoiled that any type of dip in economy, any type of like hardship at all, and people are so willing to just like sell the entire country down the river for some crazy ass candidate just because they're like, I don't know, things aren't as cool as it used to be. I think like places like Argentina that are actually like having a hard time with their economy could really teach Americans a lesson about exactly what it looks like to actually have a tough time. And, you know, that's no offense to, you know, single mothers out there, because they've been struggling this whole time. Like the people that really are actually affected by it aren't middle class or upper middle class or lower middle class. It's the poverty stricken. Those are the people that are actually being like harmed by the state of the economy that it's in right now. The economy as a whole is getting better every single day in America. In fact, we're at a point in our economy where they're saying that China, who used to be to a point where they were going to not only surpass us but lap us, now they're saying China may never actually catch the American economy because of what happened with COVID. Like, we are so spoiled here in America that anytime there's any even small amount of hardship, we all just like, and I say we in the royal sense, not me, but we tend to just like freak out and just, we can't deal. We can't deal.
Acting with voters so that they know Katrina.
She says that running in 2022 gave her some recognition and put her in a more competitive spot to run this time around. Though she was disappointed, she shares it set her up for a good campaign this cycle, where she will focus on inflation and energy costs, making life easier for consumers. Last time I spoke with Senator Kevin Cramer, I had him on.
Yeah, we'll have to check him out, Fatty. We'll have to look at some stuff on him.
Although he said he did not know you personally.
He's met me.
Oh, sure. Okay.
He of course he doesn't remember me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he meet you personally? Although he came on, I think, last month, I believe, and although he said he did not know you personally.
He's met me.
Oh, sure. Okay.
He of course he doesn't remember me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he meet you as you were running, or how?
No, he met me at the ND US Innovation Campus.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very memorable.
Okay. Do you remember some of the things that you guys talked about, or?
Yeah, we talked about the Food Safety Modernization Act. Yep.
Okay. So he mentioned that he did see your previous debate performance.
It's the only time I've ever seen her at all. One debate she had with her two opponents in last election cycle, and I mean, somebody's got to run, I guess, but wasn't a stellar performance. But at the same time,
okay. Let's put this in here. Criticized. See, this is where America's at. We got to insult each other. Criticize debate performance. Said somebody has to run, I guess. Wow. That is crazy. That's where American politics are. American politics are at this point where it's just like, if you're not insulting your opponent, you're not doing anything. It's fucking insane. Let's see. Also here in Argentina, there was a president called Cristina Kirchner. I'm going to look her up too. Cristina Kirchner. Okay. So I'm going to look up Millie. And I'm going to look up Cristina Kirchner at some point, and we're going to take a look at what these people have done. Literally, the site is the ones that support her and the ones who don't. The fact is she's accused with hard corruption, huh? Yeah, what politician isn't accused of corruption? And it just makes it so strange. It makes it so strange and so hard to, like, tell actually what's going on. Like, I really wish that, like, we could get to a point where we could at all trust in politicians to not, we need to get money out of politics. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is we got to get money out of politics, man.
I applaud anybody that's willing to put their name in the arena and stick their chin out in this rough and tumble world of exceptional self-governance. Mm-hmm. I ran and lost 3 times before I succeeded in an election for Congress, and so good for her for being willing to do it.
How do you feel about that? Do you think that that is some constructive criticism that you'll take note of, or?
I think that that was a shot above the bow from Senator Cramer. It wasn't so much valuable criticism. I had a lot of fun debating Rick and John, and I got a lot of compliments on my performance. So I think one of the things that Kevin isn't used to is somebody who's not going to capitulate And he better get used to that. It's going to be a long 12 months.
Good job.
Senator Kramer has
There
said
you
in the
go.
U.S. Senate since 2018. He has yet to announce
We
if
are
he
researching
is running.
hard, DJ.
We will continue to bring you updates
Researching
as they
hard.
come. From your election headquarters, I'm Adrienne Oglesby.
Christensen says support from North Dakotans has helped fund her campaign so far. She says she tasks herself as a problem solver who plans to speak up for the community, and you can read more about what Christensen has to say.
Let's see. Do they have the debate? Is that on YouTube somewhere? High school sports roundup. She's on that. Okay. Sex addiction 5 times a day wasn't enough. Okay. All right. I'd be tired. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. Is this? Let's see what
funding for
will represent North Dakota.
Problems.
Okay, here we
need
go.
to work to.
Okay, tell me, dude, this.
Republican, which is
okay. This is a terrible camera. It's the background or something, but this shit looks like an SNL skit. I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks like an SNL skit. All right, we're gonna watch
exactly what is needed in the United States Senate and in America. We need a fighter who will resist Biden's agenda, who will resist
is this one of the guys she's running
unelected
against?
bureaucrats like Anthony Fauci, the wokeism that we are seeing rampant, inflation.
Oh, good job. He's using all the keywords. Okay, who is this guy? Okay, I'm actually gonna go back. Let's hear who these people are. Okay.
By the drawing out of a hat, first up with our opening statement is Senator Hoeven.
Thank you, David. Good to be with you. Thanks to Prairie Public and AARP for hosting this debate. It's a huge honor for myself and my wife Mikey to serve the people of North Dakota. And, we're always guided by what's best for North Dakota. Our two biggest industries are
agriculture. Tell me this doesn't look like an SNL
energy.
skit.
And I've worked very hard, both as governor and in the Senate, to make sure that I'm a leader when it comes to agriculture and to energy. I'm one of the top Republicans on the ag committees. I'll be very involved in writing the farm bill, as I have been in the past. We write one every 5 years. That's vitally important for North Dakota, vitally important for our country. Same thing on energy, working to make North Dakota an energy powerhouse. I fight back against the Biden administration every day and their agenda, which is wrong for North Dakota.
80% of the infrastructure bill has gone to red states. 80% of the infrastructure bill has gone to red states. Georgia is going to be one of the main producers of chips and semiconductors and all of these things, and it's all going to be due to Biden's infrastructure and CHIPS Act plans. And these guys stand up here and just say the dumbest shit. I'm totally against Bidenomics. I'm totally against Bidenomics. Totally against Bidenomics. I'll take all the money that he's giving us that's making our state actually do well right now. These people are insane, and they're lying, and they're dishonest.
Dakota wrong for our country, and I fight for the fundamentals that make our state strong and our country strong. I bring common sense, North Dakota leadership to Washington, D.C., and I work for the people of North Dakota every day.
Thank you. Our second speaker is Rick Becker.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks to Prairie Public and AARP. I'm a plastic surgeon in Bismarck, North Dakota for the last 25 years.
He's a plastic surgeon.
I'm also a state Republican representative for the last...
Are you kidding me? Don't elect a plastic surgeon. Why are we electing plastic surgeons? Oh my God. Okay, that's going in the notes. It's going in the notes, Rick Becker.
Last 10 years, a very conservative Republican representative. I will be on the ballot as an independent. I am an independent, conservative Republican, which is exactly what is needed in the United States Senate and in America. We need a fighter who will resist Biden's agenda,
but take all the money he gives us.
Unelected bureaucrats like Anthony Fauci.
That's
the
retarded.
Wokeism that we are seeing rampant, inflation, spending. We need a fighter who will represent North Dakota. I could not tolerate the idea of voters being reduced to a decision between a big spending Democrat and a big spending Republican. That's why I'm in the race, so I can go to Washington, D.C. and fight for you.
Also, plastic surgery is not making a lot of money right now.
Thank you for hosting this debate. It's important because this election is between a career politician, an ideologue, and a problem solver. I'm not a career politician. I'm not an ideologue. John is what's wrong with American politics. They get elected, they stay too long, they get lazy in their representation and stale in their ideas. We need leaders that are thinking about the future. We need to think about the 21st century economy for North Dakota. That means we need 21st century leaders. I'm an engineer with industry experience in agriculture processing and energy. I've invented new technologies. I solve problems. I'm a wife and I'm a mother.
I'd like to hear you
and
just
I'm an
talk.
educator from Jamestown
Not
that
read off
understands the challenges that are
teleprompter.
facing North Dakota families. And to solve those problems, we need to work together, embrace new ideas, and find common ground. When we are facing problems, we need problem solvers, not people that want to divide us or cling to old ideas.
Thank you all very
I like
much.
what she has to say,
Our
but she
first
shouldn't
topic
read off
tonight,
teleprompter.
the Dobbs decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, which
If anything,
reversed
just
Roe v.
read off of
Wade
a card.
and sent the abortion decision back to the states. Senator Lindsey Graham has
Because
proposed
she's
a
waiting
national
for it
abortion
to,
standard.
it's moving too
First
slow.
to Rick Becker, what is your position on that?
Well, I've not read the bill.
Oh,
However,
Jesus
I'm aware
Christ.
that it's a 15-week ban. My first concern was
I've not read the bill.
constitutionality. However, I see that we have
Oh my
in
God.
federal statute under Title 18, I believe, that it's illegal to commit murder. Recognizing that the unborn is a child, is a human being, it is murder to commit abortion, and therefore
None of that
I
is
would be
legally
in favor
correct.
of a ban.
None of that is legally
and
correct.
the details, just to make sure that it stays constitutional. That's we veered away from
Nope.
that. I
The
see
Constitution
it in the votes with
doesn't-
the career politicians all the time, and we.
This is why I hate it when they say it has to stay constitutional. What do you mean it stay constitutional? It's grainy, DJ? Let me look at my video, make sure mine isn't. It might be the camera. How is that? Are we grainy? Oh, it's doing the unfocused stuff. How do I make this big again? Redunk! What's happening, Redunk? Is the video grainy for the rest of you guys? Or is it just DJ? DJ, did you hit the cog? There's a little cog on YouTube, on the YouTube video that if you look right here on the video, you click that and you go to quality. Like I don't ever let it do auto. I go 1080 like that, and it makes it stay 1080 the whole time. So that way it's not yeah. Okay, so I just made it 1080. So maybe that's what it kept doing. Maybe it went auto. Here, let's play it. Okay.
We need to stay
Grumpy
true to that
Santa in the
Constitution.
house,
I believe
dude.
we can do that with the bill that has a federal
Dude,
ban on abortion.
I just got better.
Christians.
I just got better. I was sick for like a week or 10 days. I mean, my voice is still a little bit messed up, but I was sick for so long, dude. It was like, I don't know. I don't know if I was COVID because I didn't take a test, and I don't know. I think I'm fine now, unless I have long COVID. Okay. So I wanted to say this about what he said about Constitution. The Constitution does not say anything about your religious opinions being a part of whether or not abortion involves a human or a human child or not. The law is what speaks to that. Science is what speaks to that. And unfortunately, at this point, for Christians and Catholics and religious people, a unborn fetus is not considered a child in the eyes of science, in the eyes of the law. And until that happens, it is constitutional. It is constitutional to allow people to get abortions because the Constitution literally protects your right to do what you want with your body. Like, that's actually how that works.
And I've seen some advertising online.
You got tested for
saying
all
you would
three?
be a megaphone.
I should have
for
probably took
women's
a test for
healthcare.
something.
In your opinion, should Congress codify the Roe decision?
Yes, actually, Roe provided states the opportunity to regulate their abortion care. A federal ban would take away states' rights. Roe v. Wade balanced states' rights with the rights of women and girls. And I think since the Dobbs decision, we've seen just how terrible and reprehensible the government's interference in women and children's health care is. Women are experiencing sepsis, blood loss. They're being denied prescriptions. Children are being forced to carry the pregnancies of rapists.
Yeah, I was a 10-year-old
It is disgusting
in Ohio.
that we are interfering
Oh,
with the
Ohio.
decisions that need to be made between a doctor and a patient. The government does not belong in the doctor's office.
For John Hoeven, your position.
David, I'm the only person on the stage here who has consistently voted pro-life, and I've worked for pro-life policies at the state level, which we have here in North Dakota, and I've worked for pro-life policies at the federal level. I voted for conservative judges.
No
and
ads.
We'll continue.
Just so you know what we're doing here, Redonk. This is Katrina Christensen, and I am going to be potentially bringing Katrina Christensen onto the podcast for an interview. So if you have any questions that you think that I should ask Katrina Christensen, who is running for Senate in North Dakota, please put them in the Discord so that way I can check them out. Thank you. Appreciate
to
you.
advocate.
Don't forget to
for
like
life,
stream, guys.
As I have throughout my career.
Dave, I'd like to respond.
That lady in
there's
Texas.
a couple of points.
Dude,
First off, Katrina points.
Kate Cox. I can't remember her name, but she's now having to leave Texas to get that abortion. And as I understand it, I do believe that people think that she will be prosecuted if she returns to Texas after getting the abortion. This is exactly what people said was going to happen. And everybody was like, you guys are freaking out. It's not what's going to happen. You guys are being extreme. You're saying like the craziest thing is going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's actually what's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, she got denied the ability to have an abortion on a child that is non-viable. We're not talking about a person that wanted to have an abortion for any reason that you could even substantially have a stance against. It is a non-viable fetus. She has even gone on to say that she wants to have more children once the abortion has been processed. Once it's happened, she wants to move on to actually have children. And these people are still trying to make her have a non-viable fetus. That's insanity. These people are fucking nuts.
Out the doctor-patient relationship, which I clearly understand. And I find it curious and a little bit inconsistent when we're talking about the sanctity of the doctor-patient relationship when it comes to abortion, but it gets thrown out the window when we're talking about COVID. As to Senator Hoeven,
no, it didn't get thrown out the window.
Remark about consistently pro-life. I will tell you that in 2013, I had some bad votes. I made a mistake. I admitted to it. And what I have been since then is 100% pro-life. The trigger law that is in effect because of the Dobbs decision, I was a
This guy's like, look, my wife would have left me if she would have known that I was voting as a pro-life advocate. I had to vote pro-choice. But now that I can potentially make a lot of money by taking bribes from oil companies and other people in North Dakota that really don't want this lady to be in the Senate, I potentially can make enough money that my wife won't leave me.
sponsor on. Additionally, I will point out that although John says he's consistently pro-life, he has voted for funding to Planned Parenthood on at least 2 occasions in 2015 and 2018. Something that has been pointed out is immoral and has been a...
The girl in Texas, Redonk, is that who you're asking? If no, he pardoned a dude that killed the black dude, right? He pardoned the racist dude. I don't think he pardoned the abortion lady, dude. I think you're thinking about somewhere else. I think it's Abbott. Abbott's a terrible governor.
Big disappointment to the people that elected him.
Well, I'd like to hear...
I would like to respond to that. You both want government involved in these decisions. We need to know how that's going to work. Where are you going to draw the line? Are you going to make a child carry a rapist pregnancy? Are you going to make people who are facing complicating situations die in the hospital or at home because the hospital won't accept them? Are you going to restrict access to birth control? Are you going to imprison doctors that just are fulfilling their oath? All over the country, Republicans...
That's all very pertinent considering the current case in Texas. Okay, current case in Texas, and how that affects Her debate position. Okay. Let's see if I can remember what half of my shorthand means after all this stuff is over.
Say they're pro-life, but they avoid asking questions about what government regulations mean. Even in the state of North Dakota, we don't really know what the AG is going to do about ectopic pregnancies. It's foolishness.
Supreme Court.
It's reprehensible.
The lower court's judge told her that she should get the abortion. The Supreme Court judge
in regard to the life of the mother. Obviously, there's an exception there, and as you know, in North Dakota's law, there also.
So you would let a child that's been raped carry a pregnancy? We know where he stands.
Again, in North Dakota's law, first there's an exception for life of the mother. Also, because it involves force against a woman, there's an exception for rape and for incest. So those are addressed. I think the question that Katrina needs to answer is, would she allow abortions right up to the point of birth?
No. But
as to Rick, I think
nobody does that.
Again, he talks about being pro-life, but more than 7 times he has voted for abortion. He voted for abortion after there's a fetal heartbeat, after a baby is pain capable, even for gender selection.
Oh,
as regards his assertion about me voting for Planned Parenthood, I've always voted for the Hyde Amendment, which says no federal funding for abortion, and I've sponsored and continue to sponsor legislation that would defund Planned Parenthood.
I just need to respond to John's talking point. He only has talking points or meandering points. But the reality is that he's being dishonest about abortion care. When he's talking about those people that are having late-term abortions, he's vilifying people that are in the most desperate moments, the most grievous moments that no parent wants to be in, the toughest decisions imaginable. It is important to me that I represent and protect all North Dakotans. That's the thing that's important, not scoring cheap political points.
And I also have one point to make, Dave. You know, John talks about this
he's like,
Hyde
about those
Amendment,
7 times I voted for
funding of
abortion.
abortions, and that's what he clings to, and that's a very typical career politician move, because what he's doing is saying, yes, it's not for abortions. That's the Hyde Amendment, but he's still funding Planned Parenthood. The Hyde Amendment says you can send money to abortion providers as long as it's not actually
it's
for
all stuff
the
covered by
abortion
Roe.
procedure. But you can help them pay for all of their other costs, which then frees up money to perform those abortions. It's unbelievable that a pro-life person, because I believe John is pro-life, but he is so enamored with spending that he will vote time and time again for omnibus spending bills, even when it includes funding for Planned Parenthood.
Dave,
John,
I
you
do
have
have
one
to make
last.
one final point. If what Rick says is true, which it isn't, why do all of the pro-life groups support me? Why do they all endorse me and not him?
Well, I can answer that. They have, when you have 2 candidates that are strongly pro-life, because North Dakota Right to Life has given me a 100% rating, national bylaws say that they are required to endorse the incumbent. That's why John Hoeven is endorsed instead of me.
Oh,
I do need
snap,
to move on
bro.
to the next topic, if that's okay. And we'll start with Katrina Christensen on this one. The inflation is a huge issue right now. President Biden
why is
passed
she debating
what he called
these
the
two? Are
Inflation
these two
Reduction
running
Act,
at all?
but
Is
the inflation still
are they going to
remains
run
be
against
a
the
major
incumbent?
concern. So how would you tackle inflation as a member of the Senate?
Yes, absolutely. I believe in free market economics. When a company provides a product or a service that's valuable, they should be able to make a fair profit. What's not right is price gouging. It's stealing money from families and small businesses and working people. And
you guys see that egg price fixing thing on the Republicans? Was it Republicans? It might have just been politicians in general. A bunch of rich people that owned egg farms like 6 years ago or 8 years ago did a bunch of price fixing with eggs. Yep. Could have called that shit.
Goes into rich investors' bank accounts. So I think that what we need to really do is tackle price gouging by...
Right? DJ, that is the entire point of education, right? Is that, like, if you look at the numbers since Roe v. Wade was created, since it was not codified, it wasn't codified. Since Roe v. Wade was instituted, you see a spike of abortions at the very beginning of it because, of course, all those abortions were happening anyways. They just weren't being talked about. They weren't being categorized as abortions. Women were getting abortions before Roe v. Wade. So you see a spike in the legal abortions, and then you see it slowly start to come down more and more and more. You see women's production in the economy go up. You see GDP, as far as women go up. You see less abortions actually steadily happening, declining at a good clip, because when you have something like what's going on with Roe v. Wade, you allow education. And when you allow education, of course, leads to things like talking about birth control, destigmatizing birth control, destigmatizing condoms, destigmatizing safe sex. And then you start to actually see things like abortions actually decline, because then the people that are actually having the children want the children, because you have a lot more safe sex. Now, one of the things that continues to be not spoken about is, regardless of whether or not abortions are legal, women are going to get abortions. It is a statement of fact that women are going to seek out abortions even if they are illegal. They are doing that before Roe v. Wade, and they will do that now in places like Texas where it's illegal. The only difference now is that their mortality rate will rise because of the fact that they can't seek out safe conditions to have these abortions. So when somebody says that they're pro-life, they completely forget the fact that these people are going to seek out abortions that will not only put the baby's life in jeopardy as in abortion, but also the parents' life in jeopardy as well, because they're doing it in unsafe conditions. When you have things like Roe v. Wade, you are able to talk about it, you're educated about it. That's why I talk about legalizing a lot of drugs, is because when I get to talk to my kids, like marijuana being legalized in California opens conversations to things that people didn't talk about before. Now people can talk about the fact that, yes, marijuana can lead to depression. Yes, marijuana can lead to anxiety. Yes, marijuana can be addictive. But when marijuana is illegal, most people don't want to talk about those things because it's stigmatized. You want it to become legal, but if you say all these things, then they're not going to, everybody's going to stigmatize it. And that is true about almost everything in society. If you stigmatize something to the point that because you don't like it, you don't want other people to do it, then it's going to be done. It's just not going to be done within your sight. And that means that people are going to find ways to do it that are much less safe. I'm capable of talking about marijuana use with my kids. I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore because of some of the reasons that I had stated. But it allows me to talk about it with my kids because my kids know that it's something that's legal and perhaps something that they may do in their life, rather than me just like causing them fear and worry about it. And it's illegal. You can't do it because it's illegal. No, you don't want to do it because this, or this. And if you are going to do it, then you should do it in this way, so that way you're safe. That is what we really want to do with all of these things, whether it's abortion or it's drugs or whatever. It's about education. Education leads to better outcomes.
By corporations
every day of my life,
to diversify and break
don't be
away
like
from
Uncle Richard.
OPEC's manipulation of our energy
Dead
sector.
names.
John wants to play the blame game. He's always talking about Biden. Well, let's talk about deficit spending
and I actually
during the
agree
Trump
with that too,
administration.
Rita.
He greenlit $7.8 trillion worth of spending during the Trump administration.
Sorry.
That didn't happen.
If one solo income houses, if we could find a way to make that happen again, that'd be amazing for society, to be honest with you. Now, that doesn't mean that it has to be the woman that stays home. And it doesn't mean that that woman also has to forget like her career and stuff like that. I just think that it should be an option. I think that you should be able to live off of a single income, but if you want to have duo incomes, all the better for you, you know. But I think that, yes, you would see many more people wanting to have children, many more people keeping children instead of getting abortions, if we could get to a place where the solo income home could be in some way done again. Yeah, I think so too. I agree with that. Healthcare is a huge part of it. Fatty's hitting the nail on the head there too. Affordable fucking healthcare for people. One of the reasons that you have to have duo incomes is because of healthcare. It's like it's a human right. There's so many things. Like I said, we need to get money out of healthcare. We need to get money out of the prison system, and we need to get money out of politics. As we all know, money is the root of all evil.
have any impact on the future? I think it did. In the meantime, he hasn't done anything to fight inflation, including capping insulin and prescription drug prices. Where are you, John, representing North Dakotans?
John Holdren gets to respond.
So I actually voted for legislation that would help reduce insulin prices. It's the Kennedy Amendment, and certainly Katrina can go check into that. Also, it is the Biden tax and spend policy that is driving inflation, and I have fought against that tooth and nail. Also, what I work on is the priorities I talked to you about earlier, ag, energy, and I fight for small business in all of those areas by addressing.
But he just said two things that conflicted. He said that he's not for the Biden tax and spend, but he's also about ag and energy. The Infrastructure Act actually is the largest bill to inflate our green energy plans, and every one of these red states is benefiting to it to the tune of 80% of the total budget of the infrastructure plan. Places like Florida and places like Georgia, places like North Dakota are all going to be receiving a ton of money to help them bring jobs back to America. So when you say things like that, you don't agree with Bidenomics, but then at the same time, you're taking tons of money from the infrastructure plan, then you're just being disingenuous, and that's just for political reasons. The Infrastructure Act as a whole, which I'm going to be doing a video on at one point or another, is an incredibly important part of bringing back money to America, bringing back jobs to America. And at this point, it's actually causing people in Europe, people in foreign countries to become upset with America, upset with Joe Biden's policies, because it's going to bring so much of our supply chain, so much of our industrial work back to America that it's causing issues with the rest of the world. The rest of the world is seeing America pulling back from manufacturing in China, from manufacturing in India, taking it to Japan instead, taking it back to America, and using things like the CHIPS Act and the Infrastructure Act to bring American jobs back to America. In fact, the Infrastructure Act is going to create so many jobs that we are supposedly going to have a 500,000 job surplus that we do not have the labor to fill. We're going to literally need immigration from other countries to fill jobs in America because of the Infrastructure Act. It's insane to say that.
Supply chain issues by producing more energy, getting the Biden administration to take the handcuffs off our energy producers, which I fight to do, and by helping small business by cutting the regulation, the bureaucracy,
Koch brothers
and the red
give me
tape.
money.
Those are the things that will increase supply, and that's what's going to help us meet the demand and reduce inflation, which is a tax on everybody in America. I fight for those things across the board every day.
For Rick Becker, then.
All right, well, there you've got John talking out of both sides of his mouth again. He says one thing and does another, and that's his modus operandi. What we have, in fact,
he's
I
a
will
good
tell
politician.
you, John, that's why I'm in this race, because I stood by and I listened to you talk to the people of North Dakota and say we have to cut spending,
Dude,
we have to stop
the plastic
inflation.
surgeon's
when,
going in hard.
fact, you are the very reason we have it, because Katrina is correct. Your spending.
Dude, my children, you don't think I'm not already telling my children they need to get in there and start soldering those boards, bro? You know it. It's really funny, the America First thing, because this is something that Trump ran on, and this is what I'm saying is this is the hypocrisy of it. Trump ran on American First, but Trump went with tariffs. Trump just doesn't understand. I've said this a million times. No one's going to catch me with the hyperbolic statements. That I'm not into character attacks. I'm going to attack the policies. His tariffs were not a good idea. All they did was create conflict, and all it did was bankrupt American farmers. It caused issues. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that at one point or another those tariffs aren't going to have a positive impact on the economy if, as they are now, being used in a way by backing it up with things like the Infrastructure Act, like things like the CHIPS Act. If you want to have things like tariffs, then you have to have the know-how to back it up with plans outside of that. And that's why when Podesta comes up with the Infrastructure Act, or is instituting the Infrastructure Act, and you have Schumer with the CHIPS Act, that's because Biden has people around him that are backing up the plans that he does. They're being more cohesive. They're working together. Where Whereas Trump was just trying to do things in his own way. He didn't like people that told him no. He wanted to do things in a way that he ran his businesses, which were, shady at best. And so when you look at the America First, the way the way he wanted to run America First, I think that being insular is a bad idea. I think pulling everything back to America is eventually going to give us problems. But I do think that creating a infrastructure within America that allows us to better exist without the help of China, better exist without the help of Taiwan, or even countries that we're allied with during times like the pandemic, which is actually why inflation happened. It's not because of anything Biden did. Inflation happened because we went through a global pandemic that raised inflation throughout the globe, not just in America. Not to mention the fact that we then entered into the Ukraine war because of Russia invading Ukraine. Joe Biden didn't invade Ukraine. Joe Biden is sending over used military equipment to support Ukraine. The reason that certain things like gas and food are still high in our country, in our economy, while the rest of the economy is actually deflating down to 3%, is because those are two things that are globally higher. It is globally higher that you are seeing an increased price in food. It is globally higher that you are seeing increases in gas and natural gas. And that's because of the war in Russia and Ukraine. It has zero to do with Joe Biden. It has everything to do with Vladimir Putin. So the American First idea is great to a certain point, but I don't think that you can completely pull out of all these places. That's why we're still doing manufacturing with Japan. I like that we're still doing a lot with Japan. I think that, hey, Tamara, I think that working with Japan is a really, really smart thing to do. They have a lot of our best interests in mind. I think that they're innovators. I think that, after World War II, their human rights, record improved a lot. And to be honest, right now, if you guys want to be honest right now, Germany is probably the best set right now as far as their economy could possibly be if America pulls back. If America pulls back, you might see Germany actually start upticking as far as their place in the economic world goes, because they have the infrastructure. They have, once again, a country that has really focused, like Japan did, on what would you call it, like an American First type of plan, as Germany has done before in the past, and that didn't always turn out great. But I think Merkel's a good person. I want to believe in Merkel. If we just drill more, dude, I was just thinking today, Trump was a drill baby drill. I think that Biden should make his slogan "Build Baby Build," because that's what the CHIPS Act is doing. That's what the Infrastructure Act is doing, is they are building and they are building and they are building, and that is creating jobs, that is creating financial windfalls for even the big guys. Look, I want everybody to do well. I don't care how much money you have. I think being a billionaire is immoral. That's my personal opinion. Has nothing to do with laws. Has nothing to do with anybody else's opinion. That's just my personal opinion, that being a billionaire is immoral. That doesn't mean that they don't get to keep their money. I just think they're immoral people. As far as, the building, though, that's going on, like I said, we're going to have a surplus of 500,000 jobs. We're going to need immigration. And that's why when you say things like we should no longer allow people from certain countries to come into that's stupid. We want the best engineers from all over the world to work right here in America. That's what makes sense. And guess what? If America pulls back, hold on, I got to stop these ads. Don't you dare. Boom, stopped them. If you want to be honest and you want to talk about America first, and you want to talk about where we're going to go with this, well, like I said, it's going to hurt some feelings. You're going to have countries in the world that are like, hold on, you've depended on us for this long. You've worked with us for this long. You can't just pull everything back. Well, when we do that and we show the world that our economy is like steaming full force, going hard, then all of those engineers are going to want to come here. All of those high-end, intelligent workers are going to want to be here, and they're going to put down roots in America. And if you look at it in that manner, and that's who we are. Americans, we are everybody. Americans, we are the world. We are every ethnicity. We are every gender. We are every age. We are every class. Everything. We are a melting pot of all of these places. And we are uniquely set up that if we can get our shit together, that we can make this economy just absolutely just demolish any idea of what people thought that we could be. And at the same time, we can provide people with a way of life and a comfort unseen anywhere else. I mean, where we're at now, we have that. There's a guy who's in Argentina just a minute ago talking about Argentina. There are places that are way worse off than we have it. And I'm not saying, as a progressive, I want to see us progress and I want to see us continue. And I do believe that we have a long way to go still on things like trans rights and equal rights for women and you know, pay gaps and all of that stuff people want to talk about. I think that there's plenty that we can still do. But I still don't think that means we deny that the fact that we do live in a country that is moving ever forward as long as we keep these other motherfuckers from stopping us. That's my rant. Anyways, I'm supposed to be researching.
Under Trump was unbelievable. There was not a bill that you didn't like and didn't vote for. Even under Biden, you voted for his $1 trillion fake Green New Deal infrastructure bill. This has been a detriment.
U.S. oil production at record high.
To inflation.
Yeah, exactly.
Biden's
crushing their war
on
efforts,
fossil
even Nathan,
fuels has
just
contributed to
destroying.
inflation.
One of the
that,
main reasons that Russia's having an issue is because we are destroying
even when you look at core inflation and
oil.
remove energy prices, we are at a 40-year high. 1982 is the last time inflation was this high, and it is affecting the elderly disproportionately and lower income. So it's his spending that has made us where we are now, in an economy that is in dire straits, and I guarantee you is going to get worse.
Katrina Christian.
I just would like to say that listening to John complain about energy prices is kind of laughable. He's a man who has major investments in oil and gas.
That's what I was gonna say.
When we pay high prices, his bank account gets larger. What incentive does he really have to work to make sure gas and oil are affordable? It's time we have a senator who's really looking out for North Dakotans, not their own investment.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. Because I like her talking points. She's got good talking points, and she's pointing out some really good stuff. But she's got in my opinion, my personal, unprofessional, I've done nothing but debate people in YouTube spaces. But she gotta practice these lines before. If you're gonna speak off lines, you gotta it's gotta come off a little bit more smooth. It's got to come off. I like what she's talking about, but if she wants to win over the everyday voter that's out there, somebody that's not going to just pick apart the educational portion of it and kind of go with, oh, these are good facts, she's got to remember, you got to bring, you don't want to be DeSantis up there. You don't want to be getting that bad charisma. I'm sorry to put that bad juju on you, Katrina. Sorry, I don't think I should ever compare anybody to DeSantis ever again, and I am already feeling repentant for saying that. But I'm just saying, you gotta be smooth. You gotta be able to talk in a way that people can understand.
Portfolio. And I would just like to correct the record for both of these two people. During Biden administration's first year, there were over 3,500 oil and gas leases done by the Biden administration.
There you go. See, she knows what she's talking about.
Which beat Trump's first year by over 1,000. So the reality that Biden is stopping drilling in North Dakota is not true. It's just not true. It's a talking point.
Good job.
John Hoven.
Look, I understand Katrina has to go on the attack because she supports Joe Biden and she supports his policies. And those are not only choking off our energy development, again, across the board, his tax and spend policies are driving inflation up, which is why Rick.
Look, he's not gonna address the fact that she called him out on his bank accounts, and he's not gonna address the fact that she called him out on the fact that they had over 1,000 more leases in the oil industry in North Dakota during that year. Look at that. That's some politician shit right there. He's smooth. He's just like, here we go.
It's wrong why I've worked so hard to oppose those very policies, voting against the American Rescue Plan, voting against the Inflation Reduction Act, voting against his increase in the debt.
Okay, so this is the talking point. They vote against the Inflation Reduction Act, but then they take all of the money, all of that money they've been getting from the Inflation Reduction Act, and then they go out and talk about all the good things they're doing. So there we go. Dude, like, you can talk to people that don't know anything about these issues, but anybody that knows anything about the actual issue is going to be like, this guy's full of shit.
Debt ceiling, also voting and effectively killing Build Back Better. And, you know, the irony of Rick Becker talking about saying one thing and doing another, I mean, he is the epitome of that. Let's start with the fact that he goes to the Republican convention, tells all the Republicans that he's going to honor their wishes. Then he not only disregards them and runs anyway, he leaves the Republican Party. He's a filed independent, and he's still trying to say he's a Republican when all he's doing is undermining the Republican Party, helping the Democrat candidate, and helping the Democrat agenda.
Rick Becker?
Oh, such a politician.
Yeah, this is...
Dude, that is politics 101 right there. He's like, I didn't answer anything, and I'm going to make this guy look bad.
It's very interesting. Number one, I am a Republican. I mean, look it up.
Check
I'm a state.
your filing.
I'm a state.
He is an independent, just so you guys
John,
know.
I'm a state.
He's filed as an
representative under
independent.
the Republican Party. That is a fact.
You're filed
Check
as
your
an
facts, sir.
independent.
Check your facts, sir.
Check your
Now,
facts.
what we...
Come on.
Boys.
Wait.
She mommed him. Oh, she mommed him. That's great.
A minute now.
He's
I
a
just,
filed-
come on.
Come on.
We've got questions.
Here's the
When
thing.
I
Here's the
helping-
problem.
You're
Here's the
helping
problem, sir.
Katrina by running as
you are
an
so
independent.
interested
shit, I
in
love
spending.
it.
That is why the American Conservative Union, who ranks
Double speak, Nathan.
all legislators.
Nathan and Redonk, you love this too. We should watch if I have a little bit. I'm not supposed to be on here super late tonight, but the Lex Friedman talks about 1984. It gives like a little bit of a recap of some quotes and some stuff in there, and it is awesome. It is great. Like I said, he goes into the fact that how a lot of 1984 is actually misrepresented by conservatives, and the fact that Orwell was a democratic socialist, and how they misused 1984. It's actually pretty awesome. We should watch that if we have a chance.
Both U.S. and
If my wife doesn't yell at me.
state gave you a 40% lifetime rating for taxes, budget, and spending, whereas, which is, by the way, John, an F rating for John Hoeven.
Damn!
For me, they've given, in the 90s, I have an A rating by the American Conservative Union for spending and budget, the very thing, the very topic that has put America in the position it is, and both of my opponents are big, big, big spenders.
David,
I
gotta
want to
respond.
comment.
He
John
mentioned-
is talking out of both sides of his mouth here. He's talking about voting against the debt ceiling. How many times did he vote for that during the Trump administration? A heck of a lot. The reality is that
She needs to bring up the fact that Donald Trump raised the debt ceiling by $8 trillion. How about that? That's like 30% of the entire debt. $8 trillion. She needs to bring up the fact that Republicans as a whole have contributed something like 70% of the debt to 70% of the debt. Like, bring that shit up. Glass-Steagall legislation, uncle. What the fuck is that? Glass? You guys are giving... This is not the research I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be working on Katrina. You read 1984 way before 1984? Very nice, Nathan. Legislation... Uncle. What is that shit? Why am I looking at this? Read on.
Biden isn't stopping any drilling that's happening in North Dakota.
Oh, I want to watch
The
that
oil
video
companies
that
don't
you
need
posted
to drill right
too.
now because they can make all of the money. It's simple.
I want to watch
market
that. I haven't
economics.
gotten a chance
If you
yet,
can
Rita.
exploit it, they will.
Yeah, boy. Look, there's so many things there I've got to respond to. First off, you know, you're so wrong
I'm not
going
gonna respond to
because
any of
he's
them,
holding
actually.
up
Be
drilling on
articulate.
federal land so they can't get any new leases. Then he says, oh, well, sure, they have leases, but he blocks them on getting the permits to drill the leases. Then if they actually get through that process, which he's not letting them through, then the environmental community holds them up in court. So then he goes to places like Venezuela or Iran or somewhere else to get energy instead of just getting us from us here in America.
That's not true.
17,000 wells producing right now in North Dakota.
I have worked my whole
17,000.
I have worked my whole career.
He's not going to answer
help
that
North
shit.
Dakota produce more oil and gas, and we're an energy powerhouse for this country. But Biden is stopping us. He's put the handcuffs on our producers.
17,000 wells, John.
Going to help them. No question about it. And I can see why these two take turns. They're helping each other. Rick Becker is helping the Democrat Party. He's obviously trying
Look
to
at the Republicans eating each other alive.
The Democrat Party and the Democrat agenda, and you watch them. They'll take turns. They're working together. You just watch. It's amazing to see.
If two candidates up here seem to be attacking one, perhaps it's because that candidate is telling the greatest mistruths. Okay. My question for you, sir.
That you don't learn any new ideas.
My question
you have
for you
stale ideas.
is: did you vote
I
for
rest my
Biden's?
case.
My question for you is: did you vote for Biden's fake green $1 trillion infrastructure bill that gave him his biggest win, and that we know contributed to
America
inflation and
the
was
biggest
bad
win.
for America?
It was not bad
you
for
did.
America.
That's all we need to know.
No, we actually need to go through some of the facts there. The facts are that we worked to kill, Senator Kramer and I worked to kill Build Back Better, which was $5 trillion by working with Manchin and Sinema. So we not only actually got some infrastructure funding, we saved $5 trillion. $5 trillion that otherwise would have gotten
He's not
funding.
being dishonest about
the
that.
$5 trillion
He is
Build
correct
Back Better.
about
Now,
that.
Rick, you got to check this out. It passed the House. It actually passed the House. But we killed it in the Senate by working with Manchin and Sinema, and that saved $5 trillion. And, you know, you keep distorting the numbers on the infrastructure package. We can go through that all day long. But that's the difference between you and me. You model yourself after some, I guess, 16th century French philosopher named Bastiat. So you sit and you vote no on everything, and you think you're going to create an outcome. You don't. I worked to get things done for North Dakota. We killed that spending legislation. You're right. It took a lot of hard work to do it, but we got it done. You, on the other hand, you just want to parrot these talking points and sit and vote no and think you get something done.
Listen,
Yes, I think I get to chime in here. The reality is, for Senator Hoeven, facts don't disconfirm his slogans. The reality is there were 3,500 permits that the Biden administration leased to oil and gas companies. 1,000 more than the Trump administration during their first years. The reality is oil companies have not been incentivized to invest in production because they're making buck. That's what you do in the United States of America when you can. You make as much money as you can. That's what John did as senator. He's made as much money as he can. The reality is that his tired old slogan of unleash the energy doesn't hold up to our real challenges and concerns. We should be concerned about competing with China. We should be concerned with China buying up our very valuable cropland. Instead, we're not solving the problems of inflation up here. We're just talking about two records of Republicans that really haven't done much.
Then why is right now we're producing right now the United States is producing 11.8 million barrels a day. At the end of the last administration, we were producing 13 million barrels a day, and we should be producing 14 or 15 million barrels a day, but we're being held up by the Biden administration, which you're going to go down and help out and support.
Okay, so
bad for North
Dave,
Dakota, bad for the country.
My response is that Katrina is completely wrong. Joe Biden and the administration is completely killing fossil fuels. It has put us and will continue to put us into a dire...
like I said, the facts don't support any of this. The statistics don't support any of this. The statistics support the fact that the further and further we go into green energy, the more and more productive it is, the more and more self-reliant we are, the more and more profitable it is for America. Fossil fuels are for fossils. They're for dinosaurs. They're for people that can't think further ahead in society than their nose. Fossil fuels are a way for people that are invested in oil companies to continue to make large amounts of profit, because the moment that the American people smarten up and recognize that we are more energy dependent and it is actually more profitable for the American people because it creates more jobs if you work in the green industry, which also pay better, are safer, are more reliable than oil, then these guys are going to lose a fuck ton of money, because no one is going to want to use oil for energy once they realize exactly how much profit can be made for the American citizen through the infrastructure bill. And that's why the infrastructure bill is working right now. That's why the infrastructure bill is causing people in European countries to pull back from America and go, what the fuck, man? Oh, don't pull out of here. Come back. We need you. This is the very thing that these people claim to want. And it's happening right now because of the Infrastructure Act. Because more green energy means more jobs, safer jobs, more reliable jobs, higher paying jobs. It is better for America's economy to go green than it is to consistently stay with this Neanderthal dinosaur attitude that we have to depend on oil. Oil will get us where we need to go. And then once we're there, we just keep going. We don't look back. We don't need to have this like idea that like, well, past generations did this, so we should too. No, that's not progress. It's regress. Stop. If you get rid of gas and everyone in poverty is fucked, that's not true. And as Nathan says, oil production in America is at the highest it can possibly be. Providing all the permits, knowing the EPA would block them. Oh yeah, I can see a scenario like that too. Let's see. Yeah, no, gas is still expensive for a completely different reason. Gas is still expensive has nothing to do with how much we're drilling. We don't need gas. No, we don't need gas. We need gas now. We need gas now. Gas will be gone. And once, yeah, we don't need plastics either. The only things that we need plastics for are industrial uses. The plastics are going to go the same route. Like this idea that we have to hold on to these things so hard. Other things will take their place. Oil will have its spot. It's just not going to be as the number one. Oil will have its place in America. The problem with these guys is they want oil to be number one because their pockets are filled with money from oil. They're all funded by oil. Everything they have is from oil. And I'll tell you when these guys will change their attitude on oil. They will change their attitude on oil when green companies become so profitable that they start putting money in these guys' pockets. And then these guys will tell you that they were pro-green energy the whole time. That is what's going to happen. Fucking quote me on that. I guarantee it. Every one of these people will start talking about how they were green energy the entire time. Just look at my record. I've always voted for green energy. The moment that green energy starts putting money in these people's pockets, their whole opinion on the entire subject will change. They will have statistics to prove everything that you believe. Plastics are never going away. Dude, graphene is amazing. The graphene is crazy. As far as plastics, my opinion on plastics is that they're less and less important in society. And I say that from the opinion of a parent. I have less and less plastic in my job or in my life every day. Every day. There is less and less plastic in my life because kids don't want plastic toys anymore. I don't need plastic anything. You don't buy DVDs anymore. You don't buy video games anymore. You know, only old people like Redonk do. Everything's digital. The more digital things become, the less we need things like plastic. The more that we get away from this like consumerism aspect of having to own things. And I know that I'm not a minimalist, but I only own shit that I need or I use. That's less and less of that. It's only going to be needed in the industrial sense. And yes, it'll still exist. Yeah, it'll still exist. Yes, we can use oil for products. We can also stop using oil for energy. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying I'm not saying oil's going away. I'm saying that oil is becoming less and less useful, and it will become less and less useful. Hell, at this point, the Republicans are falling into the Elon trap. They're over there jerking off Elon Musk, and they're all going to be buying electric cars. I remember not like 4 or 5 years ago having conversations with friends of mine that were like, no one's going to drive an electric car. Electric cars are blah, blah, blah. No one cares about that shit. When I drive down the street, everywhere I go, I see electric car after electric car after electric car. That's you can't deny that even Republicans are going to be going that route because now they love Elon. They forgot, just like I fucking said about these guys, they're going to conveniently forget how mad they were about electric cars and all of them. I've always been about electric cars. You ever been one? They go super fast. They're actually really nice. I've got a luxury one. I've got an SUV. Like, that's what's going to happen. That's what happens with all these people. They talk mad shit, and then when they conveniently forget about it, then they become the biggest fucking, proponent of it. Yeah, I'm sorry about your Jeep, bro. And I am talking about single-use plastic. You are correct about that. I'm saying it's going to become less useful. I'm not saying it's going away. I'm saying it's going to become less useful. Our refineries are running at 100%. Who's making record profits, paying out the ass? What employees are making the same wages? That's what I'm saying, fatty. This is exactly what I'm saying, and it's so crazy that Americans fight this shit. If green energy becomes popular, if it becomes a thing, the person that benefits is the average everyday American because it creates jobs. I know people that work in the oil fields. I lived in Bakersfield, California. There is literally a suburb called Oildale. There is literally a movie called There Will Be Blood about Oildale. I know plenty about oil. I know plenty about morons that go out and ride those oil derricks too and die every year. It's hilarious. That's some Darwin shit right there, okay? I know plenty about that industry, and I can tell you this. It's an extremely dangerous industry. It's an extremely unreliable industry. And is it profitable? Yeah, most of those guys make pretty good money. But it's not worth what I had a friend who knew a dude who worked in the oil fields that lost all 4 of his fingers, had them reattached, went back to work, had a pipe fall on him, and lost all 4 fingers again. It is an incredibly dangerous and unreliable job. The only people that profit from oil are rich people. That's it. Bunch of wealthy ass people, and like I said, just like marijuana, Philip Morris, marijuana's bad, marijuana's evil, marijuana's bad for you. Ironic, mildly. Marijuana becomes legal. What's Philip Morris doing right now? I bet you they're making some money off marijuana. All of a sudden that attitude changes because every one of these people's attitudes will change the moment they recognize that what they're doing now is not as profitable as what they could be doing. And then all of a sudden they are, blockchain. Credit card companies with blockchain. Credit card companies, banks, don't use blockchain. Blockchain's not safe. Blockchain's crazy. Yeah, you're going to put your money in the hands of these crazy people. What are banks doing right now? They are using blockchain with credit cards. Why? Because they created their own blockchain in-house, so they shit all over the competitor, so that way you don't use it, so that way you don't in any way, shape, or form support a competitor for them, and then they create it. What did Elon Musk just do? Elon Musk comes out, AI's scary, AI's this, AI's that. What did Elon Musk just do? Elon Musk just put out his AI. John Anthony Castro said 6 months ago the reason Elon was shitting on AI was because Elon hadn't caught up and hadn't released his yet. And he was right. Now he's released his. He's not doing it for you. He's not doing it for humanity. He's doing it because he's going to make money off of it. Dangerous and unreliable, that might be a workforce issue. Nah, dude, it is completely dangerous. The oil fields are gnarly. I don't know if you know anybody that works in the oil fields. I knew lots of people that worked in the oil fields. It is a very, very dangerous job. It's going to be hybrids. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't think that that's my thing, is it's not going to change overnight. None of this shit's going to change overnight. It's going to go to hybrids. Hybrids will be the next thing. I know tons of people that own hybrids. We don't have the infrastructure for all electric vehicles at this point. It would take time. All of this stuff takes time. I have no problem with any of these things. My problem with all the people that are just like super negative and it's never going to happen or it doesn't make sense. That's the thing that just drives me nuts the most is it doesn't make sense. All of this makes sense. If you're talking about America being self-reliant, the most self-reliance we will ever have is through green energy. That is the way that America will be 100% energy reliant. By the way, under Biden, we have the most energy exports ever. Not in the past 4 years, not in the past 10 years, not in the past 50 years. It's like the most exports, the highest exports of energy in like, it's the first time we've been net positive in 75 years. It's insane. All of this shit is just like, my point is that like, everybody with this negativity of all these things, like I can give Trump credit for certain things. Other people can't give Biden credit for anything. This is ridiculous. And it isn't because Biden's never done anything. That's why. No, it's because you're too busy jerking off that orange comp, okay? That tang. You want that tang all in your face, okay? No, stop that shit. Just fucking recognize that the country that we live in is actually pretty fucking amazing. And the guy who's running it right now, whether it's Joe Biden or the people that he put in place, whether it's Podesta or Schumer or whoever, they're doing a great fucking job. And if we continue down this route and we keep doing things that we're doing, we're potentially going to be in a place where everybody in the world wants to live here and work here and potentially put ourselves in a place where we can lead by example and give people equal rights and make the rest of the world envy equal rights. That's insane to think that that could happen. Anyways, are we selling it to Canada? Just put a very tiny nuclear reactor in my car. Dude, we don't want to get into nuclear. Half of you guys will leave my subscription if we talk about the fact that I'm pro-nuclear. Are we going to sell what? To newfound deposit of white hydrogen, more power? Oh, yeah. That's France will be... They found it? I thought we just found out that lithium, which they use for the batteries, is produced... no, I'm not going to say it, Redon. You can't... No, America's already great. I'm not saying make America great again because America's already great. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's my main problem with that fucking slogan. First of all, I stole that shit from Reagan, okay? First of all, stole that shit from Reagan. Second of all, okay, America, you can't make America great again. America's already great, okay? You're talking to a guy who grew up eating out of trash cans and shitting in 5-gallon buckets. I didn't even have running water, and now I get to live in this sweet-ass house, okay? I love this. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, redonk. Anyways, I'm just saying, all this negativity, it gets me worked up.
Straight type of predicament.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I've already went off on all this shit, so we're gonna just do it. I want to listen to this. I want you guys to watch this with me. I was gonna make whoever showed up tonight watch the conversation between Vivek, Elon, and Alex Jones. That was a absolute shit show of the most incredible villainy you will ever see in your life. Andrew Tate and Elon Musk and Alex Jones and Tyvek, dude. Insanity. Absolute. And Laura Loomer was there too. I think Matt Getz popped in at that point. It was like if you were listening into the League of Villains complain about how the media hates them. Lex Friedman, 1984. This, on the other hand, was fucking amazing. Dude, yeah, Reaganomics. And he lost his Make America Great Again. Dude. All right. This right here is amazing.
There was truth and there was untruth. And if you clung to the truth.
All right. Here's a vote, guys. Do I put Lex Friedman on 1.5? Can you guys keep up if I put Friedman on 1.5? Because I love Lex, but Lex talks like this. Very slowly and talks very eloquently. You guys gonna be okay with 1.25? 1.5. Let's go 1.25, and then let's see how it goes from there. Where's my playback speed? Where is my playback speed? That's not playback speed. How do I work my computer? It's not that. No, I don't want to play on the TV. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We'll do 1.25 to start. Okay.
Even against the whole world.
1.25.
We're not
it's
mad.
not that much worse.
1984 by George Orwell is one of the most impactful books ever written. It has been widely used and misused in political discourse by all kinds of ideologues. Into that discourse, it entered terms like Big Brother, thought crime, doublethink, newspeak, thought police, and Orwellian.
Okay, it is too weird. I can't take it. Lex Friedman on 1.25 is a little too weird. We'll go normal. We'll go normal.
Enough as a synonym for the very thing that the author Orwell was against. It's been translated in over 65 languages, has sold over 30 million copies, has been banned in many countries, especially authoritarian regimes. It's been banned under Stalin, and as recently as 2022 in Belarus.
Dude, the fact that that book was banned last year tells us that not just in America, but around the world, people are fucking nutty, okay? Banning 1984.
In this video, I'll give a quick summary with spoilers and a few takeaways. I'd like to try to make it somewhat interesting to people who both have and have not read the book. Let's see how it goes. The world in the book 1984 is a dystopian future society, nation, maybe you can say superstate, named Oceania. It's fully controlled by a totalitarian political party called INCSOC. It's led by Big Brother, who, as we might discuss, may or may not be a real person. He might just be a symbol used by the party. The party wants only to increase its power, also something we might talk about. It uses technology to...
Yeah, because that's such a crazy thing that like goes on, right? The idea of Big Brother in 1984 as being, in an Orwellian atmosphere, this person or thing that's overarching, but you can't, it's better that it doesn't have a face, right? Like, that makes it, it's the same thing with the conspiracy theorists. It's like, it's so much better when they use the they, because then it's just like, it's mystical, it's a mystery, it's just like this overwhelming theme, but you can't quite touch it. It just makes it that much more addicting for them.
Telescreens for mass surveillance. It's creating a new language called newspeak, which removes words from English that could lead to rebellion. It uses doublethink to control thought by, perhaps you could say, forcing you to hold contradictory beliefs and accept them as true. If not, the thought police arrest you for committing a thought crime. Examples of doublethink are war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. And finally, the party constantly...
And I'm sorry, I know that I'm obviously biased here, but a lot of this you can point out in the Trump. When you look at Trump, they tell you, don't believe your eyes and your ears. Like, he is this like incredibly intelligent, incredibly savvy. You're like, well, here's all the evidence that he isn't. No, all of that is wrong. You don't get it. He is the man. There is no place in my life where I find somebody like Donald Trump to be appealing as a leader. I'm not talking about his charisma as a cult leader and all that stuff. You can talk about that. That's a whole different story. But as a leader, I find absolutely nothing from Donald Trump that is appealing to me. That has been my main case since the very beginning, was that it's not about the policy. It's about him as a person and as a leader and how divisive he is and how uncaring he is. And then when you want to get into the policy later in his tenure and you want to talk about him getting rid of people and replacing them with his family or replacing them with sycophants, then I start to see it as a business manager as being bad business. So you can't like have all of the, like you say, okay, look at all the people that have either flipped on Donald Trump or gone to prison that have been with Donald Trump. And it is ungodly the amount of people that have either flipped on him or have gone to prison or have written books about him. You could say, oh, well, anybody could do that because they're going to make money off him. Then why hasn't everybody else done that? Why is this that we're seeing right now so insanely over the top compared to other people? Why? And the idea that everybody wants you to see is it's hold the contradictory belief. Hold it in your head that he's not being prosecuted because he's a bad person. He's being prosecuted because he's a good person. That's the contradiction. Hold that in your head and believe it. He's not stupid. He plays 4D chess. Like the parallels that you can draw between what he's talking about and Donald Trump and the Donald Trump cult are actually incredibly similar and pertinent.
Rewrites history. As the quote goes, who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past.
That's an amazing quote. Who controls the past controls the future, and who controls the present controls the past. And that's something that goes for everybody, every politician, not just Donald Trump. Every single politician has the weight of that authority, that they are potentially capable of changing our past. That's why things like critical race theory are important. That's why it is important when people say things like slaves actually benefited from slavery, because if you look at it, they gained a bunch of skills that they now use. Like you could say, oh, well, black people are good at sports because they worked in the cotton fields. Like, first of all, that's fucking racist, okay? Second of all, like, you're twisting it in a way to make it seem as though that African Americans should be proud of their being enslaved and should be appreciative of it. And that is very much, in a way, controlling the past through your power in the present. And when people go, oh, it's not even that big a deal. So what? They want to teach their kids different than you want to teach your kids. It's actually pretty fucking important. It's actually pretty goddamn important. You can't allow stuff like that to happen when it's not true. I literally heard this guy say in a debate not too long ago, and it's the craziest theory I've ever heard. And that was African Americans should be happy that slavery happens because they exist today. So therefore, their mother and father met during slavery, and now they exist. As though they wouldn't have existed in any other, way, as though we could even like wrap our minds around how potentially that even would be affected by the gene pool and whether or not a person would exist in a different circumstance. Not to mention what that means for like what Africa would be like today if all those people weren't drugged over here to America. What America would be like today. What the Native Americans would be like today if that didn't happen. What fucking the French Canadians would be like today. The hubris of a person to say that African Americans should be happy that slavery happened because they exist today is enormous.
There are several ministries, 4 of them. Ministry of Truth, it's responsible for propaganda and like I said, rewriting history. Ministry of Love is responsible for brainwashing people.
Okay, help me out with this, Nathan. What is Brave New World from? Is that Ayn Rand, or am I messing that up? Trump claimed that a war general told him his debate with Hillary was almost the most brave thing he ever saw. The hubris. Speaking of hubris, you heard that? Oh, the gene pool bullshit at the skinhead church. Oh, Jesus Christ. Of course it's like not something that's new, right? Of course it's not anything that's new. Like all of this shit is like mildly new to me. Like most of the racists I knew were just like complete and utter physical violence pieces of shit. What? Okay, fucking don't just fuck me, redonk. Tell me, is it what is Brave New World? Is that who? Oh, God damn it. Okay, if you guys are gonna just be dicks to me, all right, fine. I'll look it up myself. The fuck, you dicks. Brave New World. Aldous Huxley. Okay, sorry. Ayn Rand's the far right person, huh? It's Atlas Shrugged. Sorry. Okay, I do admit that was dumb. Okay, my bad. Okay, Brave New World, written 1931. Isn't this another book that they wanted to ban? Banned. Look at it. It's right there. It was banned in Australia and Ireland for language that is believed to go against familial and religious values. And in 1967, it was banned in India for its sexual content. In the United States, it has been pulled from many libraries and schools. Holy shot. What is up with the book banning, dude? Stop banning books. Stop banning books. Don't burn books. Don't ban books. Oops. Fucked up. There we go. Okay. Back to this.
Both through torture. Ministry of Plenty is responsible for rationing of food, supplies, and goods. And Ministry of Peace, of course, is responsible for maintaining constant state of war. Society is divided into three.
And, okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate a small amount here. And that is, with the administrative branches of the government, this is really what the Republicans are constantly trying to use as that fear of the other. Is that if the government's in charge of education, and they're in charge of agriculture, and they're in charge of energy, and they're in charge of the military, then at one point or another, you're going to end up in a society where they control so many things that they control every aspect of your life. So that's why I think that there's a balance in the administrative. I don't think that government should actually pull out of the administrative branches. I think that maybe at certain points that, on a state level, which I think is actually happening, to be honest with you, that the state should be more involved with some of these decisions. And even further down, the county should be more involved in some of these decisions. But the overarching theme that the administrative branch is what Orwell was going for. Like I said at the beginning of this, Orwell was a socialist Democrat. So I don't think that was what he was going for, and I think that's misrepresented by the right. As far as a constant state of war, we have been at war, I think, 237 years out of 253. That's actually already been accomplished.
Levels, the inner party, the outer party, and the proles, stands for, I guess, proletariats. It's the working class. The inner party is tiny, the outer party is a little bit bigger, and the majority of the people, I forget what the percentage is, maybe 80% is the proles, the working class. There's several key characters. Winston, the main character, is a low-ranking member of INCSOC. He works at the Ministry of Truth, where he rewrites history, like I mentioned. Julia is a dark-haired girl who Winston falls in love with, and she with him. They have sex, and this is maybe a good place to mention that passionate sex, love and passionate sex are forbidden in this society.
Okay, and I was just watching Lord of the Flies is banned? What did you say? Lord of the Flies is banned? Why would that be banned? Of Mice and Men is banned? Like, these are... Why? Why are these banned? What about these books deserve to be banned? Anyways, sorry. I was just watching a podcast with Destiny and some girl that he knows, a lawyer, I think. And they were debating Leela Rose and Trent Horn, who are two Christians. And I'll be honest with you, it's very Handmaid's Tale. It is the idea that, like, their whole position is that sex should only be enjoyable between a man and his wife. You should never be able to enjoy sex with anybody else. You should never be able to have casual sex. You should never be able to have sex with people that aren't your life partner. You shouldn't be having sex unless you're procreating. Like, that is very 1984. That is very much that. I mean, they entered into these whole studies of, like, the Christian side of it. It was like, it's all really bad for your mental health. It's degrading society and all these things. But there's actually no statistics that don't have conflicting statistics that bear out that knowledge. And, their entire thing is that anybody that looks at pornography is a bad person and is going to fall in this addiction, which is proven untrue just by the fact that I myself look at pornography. I do not have an addiction. I know plenty of dudes that do look at pornography that do not have an addiction. I actually know plenty of dudes that look at pornography that have been in relationships of over 20 years. That's like, it just doesn't bear out. But that, like, idea, when you see two people like defend that point of view so strongly, you start to recognize, like, oh shit, this stuff does exist. This does exist in society.
Good sex, I think, is a term under Newspeak, #good sex, is the kind of sex that leads to procreation, which is the only kind of sex that's allowed and the only kind of sex that's good. O'Brien is another central character. He's the member of the inner party that convinces Winston he's part of the Brotherhood, which is a lie. And he eventually is the man who tortures Winston and breaks his mind, breaks his heart. Big Brother and Emmanuel Goldstein are these symbolic characters that we never actually get to meet. They may or may not exist. Big Brother is the head of the party, Inksock.
I would not judge
and
you if
Emmanuel
you
Goldstein
did,
is the leader of the so-called Brotherhood, which is this supposed
no
mysterious
judgment
group
zone,
that lurks in
okay?
the shadows and works to overthrow the party. Again, may or may not exist. We'll maybe talk about the importance of that in a totalitarian state. So a few key takeaways, and I'll try to do my best. I have disparate notes that I took for myself. I'll try to do my best to try to.
And I'm just going to stand for my boy Lex Friedman right now, because Lex gets a bad rap. Because Lex talks to anybody. That means he brings on right-wing people, he brings on left-wing people, he brings on conspiracy theorists. He talks to incredibly intelligent people. Lex, on the left, what we tend to do, and I really dislike this about something that we do on the left, and that is anybody that talks to anybody that we don't like automatically gets banned as being like a hardcore right-wing, conservative, alt-right, blah, blah, blah. Lex Friedman is a very liberal person, and he definitely stands for equality, and he stands for progressive values. And I think that you'll see a little bit of that from Lex in this, and the way that he talks about this book and what matters to him. But I just wanted to point that out, because I think that a lot of times on the left, one of the things that does drive me nuts is that we tend to ostracize people that stand for our values because they're open to having discussions with people that don't have those values. And I actually do greatly dislike that. As I pointed out before, I have had conversations with Republicans. I do find myself in a place where I have a very difficult time having conversations with extreme right Trump supporters. But for the most part, I'm happy to talk to anybody and debate ideas. I think that that's very important in our society, and I actually applaud Lex for having these conversations.
Integrate them together to make some cohesive thoughts. And part of the reason I wanted to do this, while I have read 1984 many times in my life, and many of the books I've put on a reading list that I want to read, I read many times, I haven't often really concretized my thoughts about the books. I just take the journey and just let the thoughts kind of wander around in the background as I live my life. I wanted to kind of put on paper and maybe share with others to see what they think, what my concrete takeaways are from the book, what my thoughts are, if I could try to convert them into words. So the first one for me, especially later in life as I've been reading this book, is that when everything else, or most things that make you human, are taken away by those around you, by the totalitarian state, the last thing that's left, that is the most difficult to take away, is love. Love for other human beings, love for life itself. That's the little flame from which hope springs. That's the key revolutionary act, is the act of...
And that's why I keep saying this. What's happening, LB? I keep saying this. I said this at the beginning when we were talking a little bit about pushing back against the right, is that on the left, we cannot... Or independents, I don't give a shit. Just the far right Trump supporting people. We can't lose touch with our humanity, even though we still have to be able to defend ourselves. We still have to be able to stand up and say, your hate for transgender people, your hate for minorities, your hate for anyone who's not like you is wrong, and I will defend that. I will stand my ground. I will not cower from you. I will not allow you to insult me. But at the end of the day, you still have to keep that link to humanity. You still have to have that, because what he's talking about here is love, and the love for humanity. It really is what keeps you going. It is why having a family is the greatest feeling. It is why when you work as a team, like, you get this feeling of cohesion and community. whilst fighting against people's ideals that are hateful and angry and aggressive and confrontational, we still have to maintain a link to humanity and our love for humanity, or else we become just like those people.
Love. So when the ability to speak is taken away, when the ability to think rational thoughts is taken away, the last thing that's left, and the thing that ultimately gives hope, is love. That's a big takeaway for me. And the note that Julia gives to Winston, the note reading, "I love you," is the kind of revolutionary act that leads to a society beyond the one they exist in. I think a lot of the book has an interesting hypocrisy to it, where the main character, Winston, is almost in an animalistic way obsessed with destroying the state in rebellion and revolution. But I think love is the thing that allows you to believe in a place beyond the state, in believing that you can build something better versus destroying the thing you're in. I think you have to be careful as a revolutionary not to obsess 100% with destruction, because beyond destruction, there could be chaos that leads to something much worse.
Yeah.
I think love is the thing, the basic human thing that connects.
And that's what I'm saying, is when you start to have these ideologues that are saying things like, you know, everything must be burnt down. Everybody in politics is corrupt. Everybody in the FBI is corrupt. All police are corrupt. When you have this idea that the only way to fix something is to completely destroy it, then you're not recognizing that if you completely destroy it, there's nothing left afterwards. If this is something that you've grown into, that you love, that you appreciate, that you enjoy, and then you destroy it down to its very foundations, there's nothing left, man. What was the point? What was the point? The point should always be that we're coming out the other side cleaner, happier, more comfortable, everybody more equal, everybody enjoying life. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And I said this the other night, is at the least 49% of America doesn't agree with the left on how to run this country. And you can't destroy that 49%. You can't get rid of that 49%. And that 49% can't get rid of that 51%. And I actually believe it's more like 40-60, because there's a lot of people that don't vote. And I think that it's actually becoming more progressive, to be honest with you. In the next 10, 20, 30 years, I actually expect it to be more like 70% of the world is progressive, and that's because that's what I believe. But what I do understand is that you can't look at half the country and say, we're going to destroy that half of the country, and think that you're coming out on the other side looking clean, being happy, not having any PTSD. You got to find a way to live through that and reach people and still be able to come out with an outcome that you stand for, that you can be proud of. Like, that's incredibly important.
It's all of us. The messy thing that connects all of us, that allows you to build a better society after the totalitarian one is overthrown. What else do I want to say? There's an interesting tension there between love and sex, or lust. I think there's a quote that pure love or pure lust was impossible or forbidden. Pure love and pure lust. Pure here meaning
like
sort
unadulterated, 100%.
Unadulterated, uncensored intensity of feeling, maybe intimacy. And that was an interesting question raised by the book, both by Winston and Julia, is what is ultimately the thing, the most powerful act of rebellion? Is it between us humans? When everything is forbidden? Is it animalistic like sex? Just lust for another human? Or is it love? The kind of love you have for a romantic partner, but even love for family, love for friends? I don't know. I think the book...
I think it's love, to be honest with you, because when I look at what he's talking about, like animalistic sex, and believe me, I am 100% for whatever you like. no judgment zone. But I would say it's love because love is it stands. It lasts. It has meaning. Like I said just a minute ago, I disagree with those two Christians. I do believe you can have sex without meaning. I do believe that you can have casual sex. I do believe that you can do it strictly for the physical enjoyment of it. So I think probably the greatest sense of rebellion, the greatest show of rebellious nature would be to love, because if there's anything that they can't control, if there's anything that a person can't physically make you not do, it's love. Like, you know, there are people that have lived in our society that have been pillars of love, that have said, no matter how much you hate me, no matter how much bad you do, I will still love you. And in many ways, that's an act of rebellion. In many ways, that is them standing up against those their affronts, but with the positive nature of saying, I will not allow you to take from me the most important thing I have, and that is love.
Almost claims that it is sex. But I think what the book also shows is if sex is your manifestation of
it's
rebellion,
like gratification
that
versus
ultimately
long-term reward.
leads to something that doesn't last. That ultimately leads to a focus on destruction versus building beyond the horizon when the state falls. So some quotes from Winston on this. The more men you've had sex with, so Julia admitted to have sex with quite a lot of people. He says, the more men you've had sex with, the more I love you. I hate purity. I hate virtue. I want everyone to be corrupt to the bone. This kind of rubbed me the wrong way because, again, this seems to be obsessed with the hatred towards the state versus a longing and a hope, which I think hope is really important here.
Because he's obsessing with causing the damage rather than creating the outcome. That's really offensive in the way of, like, once again, that's where sometimes in our own party, in other parties, we get in each other's way. We get in each other's way by obsessing over causing damage, by causing hurt, by winning a debate or by winning an argument. But we don't recognize that what we're actually doing is just gratification for the moment, and it has no long-term reward. You're not thinking about outcome. You're just thinking about, right now I'm angry and I want to show everybody how upset I am. And you're not thinking about the fact that that's not going to lead towards your goal. That's not going to bring you to a place where you're going to be happy with the outcome of what you want.
A hope for a better future beyond the state. Again, another quote from the book. Their embrace had been a battle, the climax of victory. It was a blow struck against the party. It was a political act. So there, again, I think sex is a political act, an act of political rebellion. I think that's not the deeply human thing here. The deeply human thing is, again, the act of love.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a source of hope. It's the catalyst for building a better future beyond the revolution. An interesting side note here, and there could be a million interesting side notes, and I'm desperately trying not to go on a million tangent.
Me and you
to
both,
hold myself
Lex.
together here to stay focused. Is on family. So there's all kinds of love, and I think family love is a really powerful bond that connects us, and that's one of the things that the totalitarian states really go after. And I should actually mention, sort of loosely using term authoritarian and totalitarian here. But I think, to me at least, I don't know what others think, but to me, authoritarian means where there's a government, a complete centralized control of political affairs. And a totalitarian state is beyond that, is a complete control of not just politics and the functions of government, the basics of the functions of government, but also social, economic, everything. It's Nazi Germany is an example of that, I think, to me, where there's just complete control of every single thing, from the war effort to the social interactions, the rules that govern social interaction, to the press, all that kind of stuff. So I think this book is more about at least in my definition of the term, about totalitarianism. Anyway, as I was saying on family, I think the way they destroy family, one, of course, with your romantic partner, forbidding passion, passionate sex, but really just passion, longing for another human being in that romantic way. And they also
and that's really important, because if they can inhibit your ability to do that, then you can't find love, right? Like, they're inhibiting your ability to look for it. So instead, they're taking away your love and leaving you with despair. And as long as they can keep you in despair, that's really super important. And this is something that I got into with a guy on Reddit. We didn't have, it was literally like 2 or 3 comments, and it wasn't a bad disagreement, but I had posted something about the Republicans being the party of fear, and he responded with, I would never levy that type of claim against somebody that could levy it back against me, saying that if you want to talk about fear, that the Democrats as well could be held accountable for spreading fear when you talk about, the fear of violence against transgenders, the fear of climate change, the fear of, as I was talking about gun violence. And he even went on to say, hey, man, I agree with you. Like, I think that all those fears are valid. And maybe you would say that the Republican fears are invalid, but they, 100% believe that those fears are real. And I agreed with him. But I did say this. I said, if you could find me examples that prove that what Joe Biden says is anywhere on par with the fear that's being sold by Donald Trump, I will agree with you. And he came back with, oh, no, definitely not. 100% no, that, Joe Biden has carefully stayed away from selling fear. Joe Biden has done everything in his power to be a much more positive person, to avoid those types of conversations. And what I said to him was, that is really important to me, because being a person that's been in leadership for as long as I have, when I look for what reflects most upon a party or group of people or a business, it is what the values of the leader espouse. And that's, in my point of view, incredibly important, that Joe Biden is up there espousing views of hope and happiness and positivity, and very rarely attacks Donald Trump at all. And if you want to be honest, there is no person better positioned to attack somebody than Joe Biden is right now. There is endless ammunition for attacking Donald Trump, and Joe Biden has chosen to not do that. And I think that that's a really, that's something that we should all validate. It's something that we should all look at and applaud and show appreciation for, because if you want to be honest, if they want to take your love away, they're going to replace it with fear. And what Joe Biden really is doing is he's saying, there's no reason to fear. I don't want to take away your fear or take away your love. Love. That's what you should do. That's why I'm for Biden and not for Trump.
Really reward and encourage children at a young age. They indoctrinate them to turn their parents in for thought crime, whether real or not, which of course is a silly notion, because there's no nature of truth. There's no, you can just accuse anyone of anything and they're guilty by just existing. So that's a way to attack the family. And I should also mention, on the topic of love, is that I think the goal of the party, the final destination, as used by O'Brien through the process of torture, is to break your mind, to break your heart and soul completely, so that the only love you can have, and it could be felt as a pure love, is for Big Brother. This is the kind of thing you see in North Korea, is that the only love you're allowed to have, the remaining inklings of feeling that might still exist in you, you can channel only, not towards family, not towards romantic partners, not towards friends, but towards this leader.
And once again, you see that with Trump. You see that people have pushed themselves so far away from family and friends, so isolated themselves so much with these insane ideologies, that all of their love is for Donald Trump, that they will sacrifice anything for Donald Trump. They will believe anything Donald Trump says. That's a really scary idea.
This godlike messianic figure, in this case, who may or may not exist. In all cases, that figure, while there is a human associated with it, it's really much bigger than the human. And that's the only love you're allowed to have. So the other takeaway I have is on the topic of hate. I think all humans have the capacity, almost an animalistic craving for hate of the other, the enemy,
I'd
whether
say
it's individuals like
evolutionarily,
Emmanuel
even.
Goldstein or nations like Eurasia and East Asia, which I should say are the two other superstates described in this book that are constantly at war with each other. Again, the fascinating thing about the way this book is written is you don't know if Eurasia
Yeah.
or East Asia exists. You really don't know.
And you see that in our society right now when people talk about things are this or things are that. It's like they don't even know that it really exists, and they're adding so much disinformation to all this stuff that even those of us that are looking into things, even those that are researching things, don't know if things are true always. And they play off of that. They play off of that unknown. Like I said earlier about Big Brother, they play off of that mystery of whether or not something could possibly not be what you think it is. Like the Ukraine, Russia right now, they're doing that. Is Russia really invading Ukraine? Is it not really that Ukraine deserved to do, that this was happening? There's always like that idea that what you believe may not be what is actually going on, and it's used against you to make you feel as though you don't stand on solid ground, that your opinions don't have foundation. And the way that you do that is by creating misinformation and also by limiting the amount of information that the person is receiving. So when you see people that are only receiving information from Fox News, only receiving information from Donald Trump, and even on the other side, when you see people that are only receiving information from their trusted news source like CNN or MSNBC, you very easily create situations where that war may or may not exist. It's what Rudy Giuliani called alternative facts.
What exists or what is true beyond the local little interaction, local little world of the main character. And that, I think, is the point. When you don't really know, there's no steady footing on which to construct a worldview from which you can have hope about a better future, that longing for a better future. And so this animalistic craving for hate, or the capacity to have hate, especially when we're in crowds, I think is most powerfully illustrated in the 2 minutes of hate, which is practiced by the society. And the quote is, "The horrible thing about the 2 minutes of hate was not that one was obliged to act a part, but that it was impossible to avoid joining in. Within 30 seconds, any pretense was always unnecessary. A hideous ecstasy of fear and vindictiveness, a desire to kill, to torture, to smash faces in with a sledgehammer seemed to flow through the whole group of people like an electric current, turning one, even against one's will, into a grimacing, screaming lunatic. And yet, the rage that one felt was an abstract, undirected emotion, which could be switched from one object to another like the flame of a blow lamp." That's the point, is you get the crowd together. You get them to hate Goldstein or Eurasia or East Asia. You get them to hate anything. And because that feeling, that drug, that hypnotic, that mass hypnosis that you feel can be directed by the state into any direction. And because you have complete control of history, you can direct it on a day-by-day basis towards any target. And as long...
And this is what I was saying about still having that... thanks for stopping in, DJ. Love you, buddy. This is what I was saying about keeping that connection with humanity, because whether you're on the left, the right, your middle, whatever, you always still got to be aware and still be using your abilities to decipher information, to always be looking, always be interested in seeing the other side's point of view, always having that attachment to humanity that continues to make you want to see the outcome, want to see the positive outcome of your actions, and not just indulge in the gratification that is at that moment so important. Because as he said, when you're in that groupthink, when you're in those mobs of people, everything seems okay, everything seems right. you have to realize, even if you feel you're on the right side of history, even if you believe that everything you see from the other side is bad, that you still have to be able to decipher. You still have to think. You still have to engage. You can't just use those animalistic instincts to move forward. You have to suss out the details of the situation. You don't want to be used.
As long as the hate is catalyzed through these kinds of rituals, as long as the hate is there, it can overpower the
job,
individualistic feeling of love we have for each other. So that hate is a more animalistic desire. I don't know what to make of it. And of course, it's also important to say that this book, I think I've read many places that it was intended originally by Orwell as a satire, although a satire that has quite a lot of torture at the end and doesn't seem to have much humor. But I think if you read it as a satire, that's the way it's better to understand its relevance.
Yeah, I could see how it could be satire in the way of like dark sarcasm. Like, this is what they want from you, you know? Like, I could see that as being like a darker, sarcastic satire.
In our society today, because a lot of things like 2 Minutes of Hate is almost like a caricature of what hate looks like in a mass gathering.
Yep.
But if you take it as a caricature, it can now reveal you some of the elements that already exist in human nature that are there and that we should be very cautious about.
Mm-hmm.
So it reveals the very thing that, if not monitored by ourselves, can result in a slippery slope that leads to destruction of the tribalism,
fine,
destruction of
the
other
problem.
groups,
Exactly,
and
fatty.
then control of the collective intelligence of our species through a totalitarian state. I think there's elements of this that are just under illustration in social media today.
Yep.
I don't want to overstate it. I think just like comparing things to Hitler, comparing things to 1984, I think is a reach in most cases. But social media does reveal this kind of mass hysteria, this capacity of humans to be outraged, outrage based on tribalism. So we have to understand it. We have to resist giving into it on the individual level. And I do believe we have the responsibility to create technology that helps us resist it, that incentivizes us not to be cruel to each other just because all the people in whatever tribe we define ourselves in are being cruel to a particular person or a particular group. Another takeaway I have is about power. INGSOC, the totalitarian states, wants only one thing, and that is power. Power is both the means and the end, absolute power. That's what O'Brien describes, and there's a lot of quotes about this in the torture part of the book. O'Brien says, the real power, the power we have to fight for night and day, is not power over things, but power over men. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation. Power is in tearing human minds to pieces and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. One does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish a dictatorship. The object of persecution is persecution. The object of torture is torture. The object of power is power.
Yeah. So that's what, like I said, this is where you can conflate some things with what's going on with the far right. And that is, when you hear things like Trump, you know, whether you consider he was joking or not, talking about, and I don't think he was joking, using the powers of the presidency as a dictator on his first day to potentially roll tanks down the street. You know, sometimes when somebody tells you who they are, you should listen. You should listen. Because like he said, but as he said there, one does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish the dictatorship. And have no doubt that some of these people, and I'm not putting this on all of these people, I even believe for some people on the right, the far right, once again, not conservatives, but far right, Trump supporters, I believe that when it comes down to actually going through with what you would have to do in something like a civil war is far beyond their means as human beings, that their connection with other humans would not allow them to do it. But there are certain people, certain elements, as we know on all sides, that are capable of taking into their own hands what they believe, whether they're mentally ill or no, they're just mentally ill, because you can't not be. You can't. I don't understand it. How you could be mentally sane and think harming other people so that way your person can be in charge. Like, I can't understand that. So I think that what he's saying there is very pertinent to this situation, because you have to remember that if these people would be willing to commit acts of treason like civil war, they're not doing it for the revolution. They're doing it to establish a dictatorship. That's very important.
This, of course, is another aspect of human nature.
Civil war would
the will
not
to
be
power.
lit. Yes. No one should want that. No one
And the
should
tendency
want
of that power to
No
corrupt.
one on either side should want that.
O'Brien says also, the weariness of the cell is the vigor of the organism. Through the torture of the individual, through the breaking of the individual, through the death of the individual that doesn't exist according to the history, all of that doesn't matter. What matters is the organism. And there's been a lot of brilliant comments throughout social media and on Reddit. I just want to highlight something about this because I had the exact same feeling as I was this time rereading it. There's a comment from a Reddit user whose name is Brave Sky 6764. He said the conversation
Only
between
16
Lex and Michael
upvotes.
Levin, who is a brilliant biologist, engineer, came to mind when O'Brien made an analogy to an organism which survives even as the individual cells pass away. And the great purges are analogous to the cutting of a fingernail. If you see society as an organism, and which I think is the way a totalitarian state sees it, then the destruction of a large percentage of that society, the murder, the torture, all kinds of atrocities and genocide become justifiable as long as the organism flourishes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get to the ideas that Stalin had. It's okay to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Mm-hmm.
This devaluation of a human being as of fundamental importance in a society, that's a slippery slope into atrocities. It's not just deeply unethical from our understanding of morals and ethics. It is also very unproductive. It destroys the human spirit. And the human spirit is essential for a building of a great society of constant progress. I think that's also one of the other messages of the book, is about utopia. That totalitarianism results when you chase perfection. When you present this idea of utopia.
Yep.
There is no utopia. There is no perfect society, I think.
And tell me that's not what we see right now. Tell me that's not what we hear on the far right from these people. That if we just allow this person to take charge, everything's going to be perfect. These people don't believe that Donald Trump does a single thing wrong. Nothing. Everything is perfect. And that is a slippery slope, like he said, to atrocities. If you truly believe, and I think that this is something that you see you see quite a bit, very consistently in religion, because religion provides for you perfection. It provides for you this logical, or I wouldn't even say logical, this fantastical plan for how a person can lead an amazing, perfect life that culminates in living in the perfect place, heaven, at your end. And the atrocities that a person will commit to obtain that utopia is incredibly scary. And I think that we do, once again, I know I may be overstating this, but we can parallel what people that are on the extreme far right are preaching, because you don't hear Joe Biden preaching these things. You don't hear Joe Biden saying things like, we have to do things this way or you're all screwed. But on the right, what you hear is Donald Trump saying things like, if you don't elect me, there will be World War III. If you don't elect me, their drag queens are going to turn your kids into transgenders. If you don't elect me, they're going to allow immigrants to flood through the border and kidnap your children and hurt your wife. And, you know, there is a clear difference between the rhetoric that is coming from Joe Biden and what is coming from Donald Trump. And though there are elements on the left in supporters of the left, I don't think they're Joe Biden supporters, to tell you the truth, but there are elements in both parties on the extremes that believe getting rid of their opponent is the way to find this utopia or this perfect world that just does not actually exist. It doesn't exist. Perfection, like he said, ends in totalitarianism because it's perfect for that one person. That one person that gets to rule everybody and is in no way accountable or responsible for any of their actions, other than obviously their own conscience. That's the only place that's going to matter. And so I think that there's a lot of times in our society where we over-exaggerate how bad something could be if so-and-so was in power, if so-and-so did this. But I'm going to say it again, and that is when somebody tells you who they are, you should listen. You should listen to who they are. Because Donald Trump has told you he's willing to be a dictator. Donald Trump has warned you against all of these things that will happen, including the possibility of civil war, if you don't elect him. And you don't hear any of that from Joe Biden.
At least for me, that's takeaway. I think the optimal state of being for an individual and for a state is a constant turnover, constant change. In the case of a state, it's a constant turnover of leaders, ideas, and always, hopefully, in the long term, making progress towards a better world. But it's always going to be messy. Perfection only exists in a oppressive state. Perfection only exists when you remove the basic humanity of the individuals that make up that state. When you destroy the human spirit. When you suppress and you destroy all the freedoms. Because freedom is going to be messy. It's going to be very chaotic. But that freedom ultimately is, at least in the long arc of history, is going to create progress. Mm-hmm. So yes, as the Redditor Brave Sky 6764 says, that does actually give you a perspective of a biological system where it's a bunch of living organisms. Each one of us are made up of a bunch of living organisms, and we take that for granted of all the atrocities that are happening there. And we don't seem to give a damn. I think that's a really good metaphor for us to help. If you want to put yourself in the mind of the inner party, of Big Brother, of the people that are in power in those situations, I think a lot of them, if most of them, if not all of them, see themselves as doing good for the world, as doing good for the society. And they're able to justify that the way we justify the murder of the different cells in our body. Yeah. You don't even think of them as worthy of...
And once again, this is something that people have to understand. The people on the other side believe that what they're doing is good. The people on the other side, like people are, he knows he's a piece of shit. He knows he's an evil person. I don't believe that. I think that every person thinks that they're doing the right thing. I just think that what is right and what you believe is right are two different things. Like you said, when you talk about the killing of the cells in your body, which is a really actually pertinent argument for the whole pro-life versus pro-choice thing. A clump of cells it can die, on your body at any point. You don't give a shit, but a clump of cells in a certain situation, you care about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But we don't think about that. We really, we have the hubris of human beings as believing ourselves above every other living being in the universe, not in the world, but the universe. I guarantee we meet aliens, we'll think we're above them too. We will still believe that being pro-life is a good thing, but murdering an entire planet of aliens will not. I guarantee you that we will believe that. That is our hubris as human beings. We run over squirrels and we don't think twice. We hit a cat, we don't think twice. Once again, I'm using the royal we. I actually feel really bad for like a freaking year or 2 years. I'll never forget if I hit a squirrel. I feel horrible about it. But we will do things with such hubris, with so much confidence that if there was a creator, that he picked us, or that entity picked us as its greatest creation, without any actual knowledge or evidence to support that. For all we know, what is it, the Indians, the Hindus that believe that the cow is sacred? For all we know, if there is a creator, that creator's favorite creation was the cow, and we've been turning it into bacon cheeseburgers for millennia now. Our hubris is out of control.
Consideration. You don't think of them as living beings, of having the same value as you, and that's one of the really powerful ideas at the founding of the United States.
I'm not saying I'm not participating.
Equal. There's an equal worth to a human being, no matter who.
You guys know I'm gonna try to have sex with at least one.
At the very least, as flawed as its implementations have been, is a really, really powerful idea, and it's a non-trivial idea. And that idea resists the drug of totalitarianism.
I don't think that'll count as cheating,
the drug
either,
of power.
to be honest with you.
I do believe that on the topic of power and politics, that 1984, as I've mentioned, has been, I would say, misused by political ideologues. I've seen it, for example, on conservatives in the United States have used 1984 to call left-wing policies Orwellian. I think that's an overstatement, of course, used for dramatic effect, but it should be at least said that Orwell was a democratic socialist. 1984 is not a criticism of socialism. It's a criticism of totalitarianism.
Yep.
And I think the point is a warning against totalitarianism in all forms, that all political ideologies can succumb to the allure of power and be corrupted by it.
Yep.
And I think people on the left in the United States and people on the right can both be corrupted by power.
Yep.
So this kind of one-way criticism of left-wing policies as Orwellian is a very kind of convenient shorthand, but the reality is all men and politicians are capable of creating an Orwellian world.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that is highlighted in the book very well, I would say, if I interpret it correctly, is the hypocrisy of Winston. When O'Brien asks Winston what he's willing to do to overthrow the party, what he's willing to do for the Brotherhood, Winston admits that he is willing to do atrocities. He's willing to do evil onto children, onto anybody, murder, anything. And I think this is a really powerful illustration that both the totalitarian and the blind, immoral resistance, rebellion against the totalitarian state can both be evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I return to love is the thing that carries hope for a world.
Was it Martin Luther King that said that? Martin Luther King said, darkness cannot expel darkness, only light can do that. I think that's what he's saying. And that's why, once again, why I have such a hard time with the idea of somebody saying something as stupid, and I will say it is incredibly stupid to say that there is the potential for civil war. Even if there was the potential for civil war, that is not an option that anybody should ever think is a good idea. Using hate, violence, aggression against your fellow countrymen or fellow human beings or even against animals, whatever it is, it's wrong. It's fucking wrong. And this comes from a person that grew up fighting. This is a person that enjoys combat sports. I've watched MMA my whole life. I've watched boxing my whole life. I've been in more fights than the majority of people. I can tell you without a doubt that there is no good feeling that comes from harming people. There is no good feeling. And when you think that something like civil war is on the table because you believe you want to, you know, take out your aggressions on another human being, that gratification's only going to last until everything's burnt down and burnt to the ground and you have a new despot or dictator in place. And then you're going to quickly come to recognize the mistakes that you made in detaching yourself from humanity, in placing yourself outside of the very thing that gives us all meaning. That's insanity. It's a stupid idea.
Beyond this battle, this very important battle for freedom, but you have to have that. Otherwise, it's the Orwellian state and the resistance to Orwellian state can both destroy basic human rights and freedoms. And I think
Crazy,
sort
Nathan.
of in the
That's
character of
crazy.
Winston,
I want to watch that movie.
that's illustrated well. And I should also mention that there's interesting writing. Now, I'm not obviously a scholar of Orwell, and there's a lot of books been written, and I should probably recommend them somewhere. There's just great books written on 1984, on Orwell, on the historical context in which he was operating and all that kind of stuff. But as far as I see, Orwell also with 1984 and himself politically, he was not espousing the complete opposite of totalitarianism. There is, again, with democratic socialism, that there is value to the connection between human beings, that you have to lean on each other, help each other, that society is fundamentally a cohesive collective than a completely sort of disparate set of sovereign individuals. It's both. And I think he was torn about that idea because in order to resist a totalitarian state, you have to fight for those basic individual freedoms. But at the same time, a society, a well-functioning society,
And this is what I
allows
talked
for
about
that
earlier.
freedom to manifest as collaboration. And so that's the difficult challenge there. Again, that's why he was a democratic socialist. And the criticism of the book was against totalitarianism, of a centralized state that controls speech, thought, the press, and all the basic human freedoms, controls truth. And I think a lot of people would ask the question, and I hear this tossed around, do we live in the world of 1984 today? And I think that's used as a shorthand to
once
sort
again,
of criticize different policies and different governments.
No.
I generally don't like the use of that kind of language because it's basically crying wolf. If everything is 1984, if everybody is Hitler, then you're not going to, there's no way to kind of properly normalize the discussion of what's of the lesser of two evils kind of thing, which is ultimately what democracy is about. You have a collection of things you're picking. They all kind of suck, but you want to pick the one that sucks the least. That's human
Nothing's
society.
perfect.
That's
Never
human
will be.
nature. It's messy. And so I don't think we live in 1984 state, but there's a lot of elements that this book reveals about human nature and about the operation of a totalitarian state that we should be on the watch for.
Yes.
So surveillance state of doublethink, of controlling language, of being in a constant state of war as a way to control the population and the flow of resources. All those things have elements of almost like a useful tools for the establishment of complete control of a populace. And the moment you notice those elements, it's our job to resist those elements. So I think the point is we have to be vigilant to the slippery slope of the will to power in centralized institutions.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention is that I think a lot of people rightfully compliment Orwell to predict some of the elements of future society, especially with technology, technological capabilities that are, with, for example, telescreens used by the state to control the population.
All right, before he gets into this, I've been here for way too long. I was only supposed to be on for an hour or two. So if you guys want to watch the rest of this video, Google or YouTube, Lex Friedman, 1984. We're like halfway through. 29 minutes is where we're at, but I gotta go do other things, like talk to my family and say hi and all those things that are important about being a father. I'm always happy that you guys get together and talk to each other. That makes me feel good. I just want you guys to know that. I love seeing you guys all getting to talk to each other. And this community really, I know I say this a lot, but this community that we've created on YouTube, whether there's 6 of us, there's 15 of us. 15 is like that's my cap so far. Just seeing you guys get together and watching stuff is like really, I mean, and talking to each other and building community has actually been like incredibly is positive for me. It's incredibly positive for me. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Watch something funny before I go. It's everything I watch. Hey, what is this stream? What's this stream about? Let's see. You want me to pull it from the funny stuff channel, or it's not a call? I joined the monks who stay high forever. That's like 13 minutes. That's a little bit too long. I like this. Tyvek urinates live during Elon Musk's Alex Jones show. Skipping the ads for you guys. Skipping the ads. All right, this one right here. Okay. Okay, can you guys just link that stuff for me, please, in Discord? So
I'm opening up a pack of divorced dads, so let's just get right into it.
Okay, hold on. I gotta put this in the right window. Put stuff in Discord for me, please. Just because like everybody's always like, dude, you should check this out. You should check that out. And then I look in Discord and there's no link. So do me a favor, if you're not in the Discord, here we go again. I know there's only 2 of you in there right now, but we're gonna share it anyways. If you haven't joined the Discord, please join the Discord. And please do post. Nathan, join the Discord, Nathan. I love you. I appreciate you. And I like seeing the stuff that you say. I appreciate it so much. But join the Discord so that way I can see stuff. All right. You guys are helping to make... You guys know you took a trailer park kid that literally used to break into places for food, and you've educated me in such a good fucking way that like I can't stop saying how much I appreciate you guys. So join the Discord and link your shit in there instead of telling me stuff in... I mean, you can tell me stuff also in the chat, but I do lose that stuff. So let's see if I can get this to work. Can I get this to work? Oh,
I'm opening up a pack.
Stop that. Okay. Copy. Kill it. All right. All right, here we go. You can tell it's late because I'm like falling apart right now. Oh, if I would have clicked this, I bet it would have went off over here. I clicked the wrong thing. Okay. Paste.
I'm opening up a pack of divorced dads, so let's just get right into it.
What the fuck?
Okay. Starting on strong, Dad's new
dude.
look.
I'm glad I'm growing my beard back. It's
Missing
Christmas time,
remotes.
so I gotta grow my...
The fridge.
Oh, no!
Oakley. I'll be honest, these aren't good ones so far. Actually, Facebook Market's not bad. Ooh, drywall hole. Okay, I have this one, but holographic. And it actually has a hole already in it. But this one's not holographic. Tower of Sad! Hey, look at that. That's a good one. I'm gonna sleeve this one. Dad's new friend. You know, I have a couple of these, and none of them are what you want. Leftovers. Okay, last card. Now, if I pull the house on this, I'm going to retire. In Cabo Wabo. Here we go. Come on, house.
Jam
fuck,
band.
Jam band. I'm opening up a pack of divorce.
Oh, that is pretty effing amazing. Yeah, don't judge me, okay? It's late, okay? All right. Yes, please. Redonk. I don't care if you don't know anything about Katrina Christensen. If you have anything that you would like me to ask her about Tyvek or anything else, the border situation, if you have a single question that you could ask a politician and you would like to have me ask that person that question, put it in Discord somewhere where I can find it. Put it in general, please, so that way I can find it. And I will ask Katrina when Katrina, I don't know how to say her name. Once we get the interview together and we have the podcast, I will ask whatever questions you guys have asked me to ask. All right, guys, fucking love you, appreciate you. I'm still gonna be doing my stream on Wednesday, but I will be popping on here and there with these research streams. I feel like I got some research done before Redunk got here, and we totally went off the rails. But I did get some research done. We're going to be doing research on the Infrastructure Act. We're going to be doing more research on the CHIPS Act. We're going to be doing research on other things. There's a video with Ben Shapiro versus Alex, I forgot his last name, on Does God Exist that I'd like to watch. There's lots of stuff that I'd like to watch that we don't get to. Dude, Limp Bizkit dad vibes. Fatty, you know that I have a reaction to that video? Dude, look in my channel, Fatty. Look up dad vibes in my channel. I have a reaction I did to that video like 4 or 5 months ago. It's actually pretty amazing. People that have watched it said it was funny. What is it? With the drip in the back. Sag in my pants with the drip in the back. Go check that out. And also, if you guys have never watched my Kid Rock reaction video, which is like one of the first videos I ever made, my Kid Rock We the People reaction video is comedy goddamn gold. I'm telling you guys that right now. You go watch that shit. You will not be sad. You will not feel as though you have wasted your time. It's a very good video. Go look up that Limp Bizkit video. All right. Squirrel! I'm not very good at this. This is what happens. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We're not going to play the song. There's only 2 of you. You guys want me to play the song? You can play the song if you guys want me to. But there's only 2 of you, and you guys have seen it a million times. So I'm going to go with not playing the song. I'm going to go with I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I want you guys to stay safe out there. All right? Go watch my videos. Stay safe out there.